Hello and welcome back to well, hello and welcome back to the Water. My name is Beast. Today we're back with Guys for the Stars. I ever so slightly start this video like an hour late because I kind of slept in. Then I couldn't find a pair of underwear, so that wasted more time. And then I found out that I forgot to render yesterday's video before going to bed yesterday. So I had to wait for the video to render as well. And now it's 9:13 p.m. Yeah. Anyways, the interview went well. I'm gonna have an internship the week after next week there. And thing is, the job is gonna start, like, the actual job's probably gonna start at around 10 or slightly before 10 a.m. If I take the latest train I can, because no one else can drive me right now, if I take the latest train I can, I arrive at 9 a.m. roughly. So yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, as usual, the little roulette at the beginning. On the left-hand side, we have Kaoruko in her China dress, and that's nice. On the right-hand side, we have Kaoruko crying tears of joy. So anyways, anything else I forgot? Oh yeah, after I was done with the interview, I actually went to the GameStop nearby, and they were actually sold out on Ghost of Tsushima. So I basically asked them to like preserve it for me. So and like in roughly 2 weeks, like in under 2 weeks, I think it should arrive there. So that's right while I'm there for the for the good old internship. So that's good. And yeah, other than that, I actually bought two other things that people that actually have the Discord chat that are in the Discord channel already know what it was. Let's start with this one. Look at this absolute adorable bundle of cuteness. He's gonna keep me healthy when I feel sick, and I know I can trust him because he has the qualifications. By qualifications, I mean he probably ate my old doctor, so I kind of have to go to him because I don't have a doctor anymore. Oh well, anyways, this cost around, like, I think 20 bucks, 20 euros, I should say. It's not bucks. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, the other thing I bought aside from Ghost of Tsushima and that one is I finally ascended the first stage of absolute weebhood. Yes, I actually bought a Nezuko figurine because they were selling it for also around 20 to 30 bucks. Euros. I'm sorry. I'm a fucking idiot. So yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. It's also like it. I got it for very cheap. Yeah, it does look very, very nice. Actually, I think I didn't check the underwear. Hold on. Just kidding. I can't even like look down there anymore because the thing is in the way. It's perfect censorship. So yeah, it's very nice. Very nice. Was very scared I would break off this follicle of hair because in order to put on the head, you have to like push it forward so it goes over a shoulder. Made me very scared that I was gonna drop it. But yeah, looks very nice. However, this is my first figurine, so it's not like I can judge anything. So yeah, I'll leave the judging to you all. So yeah, I'll just like have that there, just standing, like right here in front of this front of the PlayStation. Just silently judge me as I make an absolute fool of myself. So, anyways. That's just sad. For a second, I was very scared that I had my mic up, and therefore you couldn't hear anything. But no, that's the game, because the game is currently very quiet. Also, I didn't actually eat, because I was very much in a rush to start recording. So what I'm gonna be eating is some camembert. Camembert. I don't fucking know what to call it. I personally, when I say it in German, I say camembert. So, it's a type of fucking cheese. There we go. Like, I'll probably be eating that before going to bed. If I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry, I'll just go to bed. But hey, that's for me to worry about the moment I go to bed. So anyways, let's get started. It was early December, the night that the stargazing had finally come.
大きいね。これをあんたの学生さんたちで作ったのかい？はい、
ドブソニアンって言って自分たちで手作りする天体望遠鏡なんです。
お嬢さんも手伝ったのかい？はい。
よろしければ覗いてみてください。今夜は火星が。
Please finish.
よろしければ覗いてみてください。今夜は火星が見頃ですので。
Also, it was very fucking hot the way back because I was constantly like in the fucking burning sun. Actually, that's kind of, the problem wasn't quite the burning sun on the way back to the station. It was on the way to my grandparents' place because basically I arrived at the station where I had to get off at a time when my parents couldn't actually fetch me because they had to go somewhere with my little sister. And I don't have my driver's license yet. And yeah, that's kind of awkward. And no one else could actually get me. So I basically had to go to my grandparents' place and wait there until they're done. There was no shade anywhere on the way. Like, the angle of the sun made it so all the usual places that had a nice amount of shade did not have shade. That was hell. That was very hard. Afterwards, the moment I was back home, I just dipped in the pool for maybe a minute, and then went to bed. That's actually why I had to look for underwear, because I just went in there in my underpants because I was too lazy to actually seek out a pair of swimming trunks. And afterwards, I did not find any new underwear. The underwear I currently wear isn't even actual underwear. It's like one of those net underwears that you are given at the hospital, just not quite as flimsy. It's like a more robust version of it that we bought at a supermarket, I think. Or now, I mean, at a pharmacy. Anyway, so yeah, rebutting from nervousness, Honoka showed the shopping center association president.
Oh, これが火星か。
There were many adults other than the president about. All of them were invited by us, and we're just average people who didn't normally look at stars. The Dobsonian must have fascinated them. They were all very interested.
私たちのプレアデス1号は大人気のようね。
Seeing all this, Orihime balanced her voluptuous chest with a self-satisfied face.
さすが、私たちが正解への思いと情熱を込めて作ったプレアデス1号だわ。
Next, she nods with obviously fake tears. She looked like a mother, proud of her child's growth.
いきなり現れて盛り上がってますね、先輩。
I like how Hikari just kind of makes it sound like she's not wanted here. Also, I just remembered. I got the internship. Reason to celebrate. I say that as if I don't drink like it's like I'm fucking dehydrated every single time I record. Like, that's the thing. Judging from how much I drink, you could very easily assume that I'm just an absolute alcoholic, but that's because I only ever fucking drink while I'm recording, or potentially while I'm out, like, celebrating with people. I say celebrating, more like, that also is very rare. Very rare. So yeah, anyway, so.
あら、ひかりさん、ごきげんよう。
こんばんは。今夜の官房会の主役は私たちですからね。
わかってるわ。私たちよね。
先輩はもう引退したでしょ。
固いことおっしゃらないでくださいな。まあまあ。
That's right, Hikari. Urihime is a key person tonight.
わかってるわよ。
こんばんは、真鍋さん。
どうも、白鳥さんのお嬢さん。今夜はお招きいただきありがとうございます。
A man called Maname greeted Urihime. He was a staff member of Harbor Town. He participated as a representative of Harbor Town, but Urihime is the one who brought him. I didn't know the details, but it seemed their parents knew each other. Thank you for coming today.
こちらこそ楽しみにしているよ、若者たち。
It's like his attitude was saying, I'm young too! I'm one of you! He looked easy to talk to. How do you do, fellow kids? Please enjoy yourself, Urihime.
久しぶりのむつら星の会ですし、それにずっと参加したかったのよ。
The night before, right after he released the special project Starlight website, Comet had appeared at light speed in the Six Stars Club group chat. How unfair!
どうして私が在籍しているうちに始めてくださらなかったの？
Also, what's that fucking emote? No one knew how to deal with an angry former member, and she was ignored for a while, so I did my best to calm her down. To make her feel included, I gave her the responsibility of contacting Harbor Town staff, and Urihime was finally happy again.
これで私もスターライト計画の一員ね。
先輩、プロジェクトスターライトですよ。
Starlight Express, wait, what?
聞いちゃいね。
And so, the stargazing event that we had worked hard to set up was finally underway.
今見えてる星は秋の星っす。秋の星座で有名なものといえば、
We not only let people look at the sky with the Pleiades one, but also taught them how to find stars and constellations. One of the things that makes astronomy hard to approach is that, to an untrained eye, most stars all look the same. To an untrained eye. Kinda like these ones. Excluding the more famous ones, most people couldn't even identify constellations. I can't even identify the more famous constellations. So the best thing to do was start by showing them the language of marked stars and then how to move the celestial bodies around them. Along the way, we were pointing at smaller stars, nonchalantly bringing people's attention to stars that they normally wouldn't see.
ほら、あの星のそばには小さな星がたくさん見えますでしょ？なんだか可愛らしいと思いません？
本当ですね。あんな小さい星たち気にしたこともなかった。
星座に組み込まれている星にも小さくて暗い星はあります。そこにあると知らなければ見逃してしまうけれど。ねえ、さやさん。さやさん？はい、なんでしょう。
So I had been lost in the sky above and was flustered when Urihime
ど
called
う
her.
なさいましたの？いえ、すいません。
I sat down next to Saya. What's wrong, Saya?
なんでもないの。私、プレアデス1号のお手伝いしてくるね。
Saying this, Saya went to help with the Pleiades 1, which already had plenty of people.
さやさん、何かあったの？
I don't really know. So it had been a little strange since the afternoon. But it was Saturday, since I had the stargazing at night. I worked from morning until afternoon. Hikari, who had arrived very early for the meeting, was in her eating area. She was moaning like she was worried. So I had called out by Hikari to come early too. She was sitting next to Hikari, studying for an upcoming test.
どう光？いい感じかも。
Hikari was reading what she had typed on her smartphone.
ねえ、ちょっと読んでみて。いいよ。
Taking the smartphone from Hikari, Saya stopped studying and ran her eyes over the script.
アキトも、あんたも読んでよ。
Yeah. The store was empty, so I went over the store was empty, so I went over to read the script, bringing them coffee refills at the same time.
はい、アック。
Saya was finished reading and gave me Hikari's smartphone.
どうだった？
いいと思ったよ。
本当？なんか反応薄くない？
ちょっとびっくりしてるだけ。光にこんなちゃんとした原稿が書けて。
あたしだってやるときはやるわよ。ねえ、アキトはどう？
Yeah. After reading, I gave my honest opinion. I think it's really good.
でしょでしょ？やっぱりね。さすがあたし。
Hikari had written the speech to be given at the stargazing that night. The goal of the stargazing wasn't only to get normal people to look at the stars. That was another purpose. Hikari's script was especially especially for that other person. What? Shouldn't it be like specifically for that other purpose? Honestly, I thought you'd have Saya write it for you. I thought that was why she had called Saya here so early.
その手があったか。今からでもサヤに書いてもらった方がいいかな。
Earlier confidence gone, Hikari asked nervously. To that, Saya grinned and spoke to Hikari.
無理だよ、私には。こんな言葉、今の私からは出てこないよ。
サヤ、どうしたの？
何が？
なんか変だよ。
There was such a small difference that strange. There was such a small difference that strange wasn't the right word. But Hikari and I felt something off in Saya's smile and attitude.
なんでもないよ。本当にちょっとびっくりしてるだけ。私もすごくいいと思う。きっと伝わるよ。光の思い。
そうかな。サヤたん、なでてなでて。
えらいえらい。よく頑張ったね。
サヤ、愛してる。
もう抱きつかないで。コーヒーこぼれちゃうでしょ。
And she went back to her normal self right away, and the odd feeling was gone. Since the stargazing had started, Saya became restless and wouldn't settle down. But Hikari didn't have time to be concerned for Saya.
人。
Hikari was nervously fidgeting. She kept checking the time on her phone. That may have been the 3,000th time. She was the picture of stress before the speech. Don't look so serious, it doesn't suit you.
真面目な顔しなきゃいけない日でしょ。っていうか、似合わないって何よ、失礼な。
He is right, though. I'm saying you're too tense. You could just act natural like always, Hikari. Hikari was normally good at this kind of thing.
それができれば苦労しないわよ。
She wrapped her arms around her stomach and glanced all around.
さやたんは。あ、いた！さや！
Hikari ran to Saya, looking for comfort. Geez, you need Saya to hold your hand while you give the speech, too? Saying this, I turned to address the attendees. Hour had passed since the stargazing event had begun. For tonight's viewing, we had focused on the planet Mars and other stars and constellations that were well known by the people who were there. The presence of Pleiades 1 was huge. Everyone felt it was special to view those celestial bodies through the handmade telescope. A soft lull had come over the area. May I have everyone's attention? When I called out, the guests turned toward me. The reason we are all here tonight is because we, the Six Stars Club, have something we wish to ask of you. I'm hoping for a moment of your time to say a few words. The crowd started to murmur, but they were listening. I signaled Hikari next to me with my eyes. Hikari took a half step forward.
皆さん、はじめまして。天の中天文部部長のほうき星ひかりと言います。
As Hikari introduced herself with a bow of her head, the crowd looked at her quizzically. They didn't know what was about to happen. Hikari winced slightly under her gaze, but regained her composure.
皆さん、双子座流星群のことはご存知でしょうか？
Crowd started talking amongst themselves.
最近テレビでやっとるやつだろ？流れ星がたくさん降ってくるっていう。
そうです。流星群がどういうものかご説明しますと、簡単に言うと、一度にたくさんの流れ星が降ってくる現象で、毎年決まった時期に現れます。現れる方向も決まっていて、その方向にある星座の名前で呼ばれます。双子座流星群は双子座の方から降ってくるわけです。皆さんの中には2001年に出現した獅子座流星群を覚えていらっしゃる方もいるんじゃないでしょうか。
When people heard the name of the Leonids, people started talking. Many people were nodding, and I heard someone say, "Yeah, I heard about that!" It must have been quite the topic at the time. It was quite a while ago, but it really had brought meteor showers into the public eye.
その年、獅子座流星群は例年にない大量の流れ星を降らせました。それこそ雨のように、この夜空をひっきりなしに流星が流れていったのです。
Everyone looked up without thinking.
残念ながら私は見ることができませんでした。同じ規模の獅子座流星群を日本で見ようと思ったら、あと10年以上待たないといけません。
People listening to Hikari, who looked up to see only a sky full of flickering stars, lowered their gazes dejectedly.
ですが、もしかするとあと半月も待たずに見られるかもしれません。
テレビで言っとったあれかい？
Hikari nodded.
そうです。双子座大流星群です。
Everyone seemed to gulp slightly.
今年は双子座流星群の当たり年で、例年の倍以上の流星が夜空に降るって言われてます。
それってすごいのかい？
Some people were whispering to each other. The Geminid meteor shower is counted among the top 3 meteor showers. It is very active. Normally, for around 1 hour on the prime day, nearly 100 meteors will fall. And this year, it will be twice that number. I think it's something to look forward to.
なるほど。
When the Shopping Center Association president nodded, people around him nodded in agreement.
ところで皆さん、ちょっと空を見てください。
Urged by Hikari, everyone craned their necks up. That was the night sky, nothing unusual.
観望会を始めた頃より、夜空が暗くなったと思いませんか？
暗くなった。
The night sky is always dark. It seemed that no one had noticed the
見
change.
える星の数はどうでしょう？
星の数。
ああ、そういえば少なくなってる気がする。さっきまであの辺りにも星が見えていたのに。
そう言われてみれば減った気がするな。あの明るい星の周りにもう少し小さな星があった気がする。
Did they turn on lights around the stargazing spot, to simulate the light pollution of a city? Is that what they did? Thanks to Manabe, people gained confidence in their own intuition and began to speak up.
どうして見えなくなったんだろ
う。それは月が昇ってきたからです。
Or that. The moon had risen at some point from the mountain range. The moon had been hidden at the time the meetup had started.
月の光が小さな星の光をかき消してしまったんです。
When the moon rises, the number of stars drop. That probably sounded strange to people not involved in astronomy. But now they were seeing it with their own eyes. To get them to experience it themselves, earlier we had slightly pointed out dimmer stars that would
流
fade.
星群の降るよ。もし今夜のように月が昇ってくればどうなってしまうでしょう。流星のほとんどは 暗く小さな光です。きっと月光に飲まれて消えてしまうでしょうね。
Listening to Hikari, people who were becoming interested in meteor shower looked disappointed.
けれどご安心ください。双子座流星群が極大になる12月14日はちょうど新月で月はありません。
Everyone looked relieved at once. The moon waxes and wanes over the course of a month, but by the night of a new moon, it completely disappears. The new moon on the prime day of a meteor shower is the absolute best situation for viewing
ですが
a new moon.
夜空の星を隠してしまうものは月光だけじゃありません。光害という言葉をご存知じゃないですか？
Light pollution was probably something most people had heard of.
本来暗いはずの夜を人工の光で照らすことによって起こる様々な害のことを言います。地上の光も月光と同じく星を隠してしまうんです。
It seemed that Hikari's heartfelt words were having an effect on those listening. Everyone had fallen quiet, drawn in by her speech.
私は三日月村の出身です。小さい頃この辺りで過ごしました。
Hikari looked up at the sky again.
仲のいい友達と3人でこの場所で毎晩のように星を数えていました。あの頃の夜空は今よりずっと明るかった。無数の星が雄大な夜空のスクリーンにひしめくように瞬いていて、星明かりが闇夜を照らしているようでした。一つ一つの星たちは小さな小さな光です。目が闇に慣れていなければ見えないような。でもそんな小さな光が無数に集まればこんなにも明るい夜空になる。子供心に不思議に感じ、私たちは星の世界に引き込まれていきました。
Hikari put her hand to her chest and closed her eyes. Just like she was calling the lost sky, just like she was calling the lost sky from inside her. As if she was recalling the lost sky from inside her, I feel it should be. Anyways.
けれど私が夜空を見上げるのを忘れているうちにいくつもの星が姿を消していました。地上に明かりが一つ灯ると夜空の星が一つ消えてしまうのです。注意深く観察していないとなくなっていることにも気がつかないような小さな光たち。でももし月が隠れるように地上の明かりが消えることがあればあの星たちは帰ってきます。そしてそんな夜がもしも実現すれば小さな流れ星もきっと見つけることができるでしょう。見てみたいと思いませんか？大流星群の降る夜、無数の小さな光たちに彩られた星空を、あの頃のような明るい夜を。
Everyone looked up at the night sky, darker than before, just like they were seeing the bright night. Just as if they were seeing the bright night Hikari saw when she was a child. I feel like they use just like instead of as if a lot, when as if would sound better in my opinion. No, Tim must have seen this as well. Most people simply didn't remember.
どうすればいいんだね。
Shopping Center Association President asked Hikari.
12月14日、双子座流星群が極大になるその夜、部屋の明かりを消してほしいんです。もし星の中の人たちみんなが明かりを消してくれたなら、きっとあの頃の星空を取り戻すことができます。
部屋の明かりを消すだけでいいのかい？看板や、なんだったら街路灯の明かりも間引くことができると思うよ。その日一日くらいなら。
本当ですか？
If you could, we'd like everyone to tell as many people as they can. Your families, neighbors, and co-workers. The reaction was better than expected, so I quickly added this.
皆さん、どうですかね？ひょっとすると、いい町おこしになるかもしれませんよ。
The adults started talking about it.
これは 想像以上ですね。
I mean, you just know that there's gonna be that one asshole who keeps his light on anyways, just to spite people. Because humans are actual garbage.
ええ、
We didn't think the adults would be so sympathetic, so we couldn't help getting excited.
街の明かりのせいで星が見えなくなってしまうものなんだね。いや、いい話を聞かせてもらったよ。
ですからぜひ例の件を。
ツリーのイルミネーションかい？ああ。
Manabe completely agreed with Hikari's speech, but he couldn't bring himself to
どう
nod.
かお願いします。14日だけでいいんです。まだクリスマスの10日も前だもん。全然平気だよね。
まあ確かに。いやいや、しかし。
Everyone surrounded Manabe, looking at him with pleading eyes.
わかったよ。上と掛け合ってみる。
やった！ありがとう、おじさん。
俺まだそんな年じゃないよ。
Everyone laughed at Manabe's protest. Stargazing went so well after our hard preparations. Everyone felt relieved.
さや、偉い人と掛け合ってくれるって。さや？
Saya looked around but couldn't find
あ
Saya.
と、さや
Wait,
は？
Saya looked around but couldn't find Saya. I mean, Hikari. Akito, wait, that's her line. She was over there before. She had listened to Hikari's speech next to me.
天の川先輩ならあっちにいました。
Hinami pointed to the shadows.
サンキュー、ひなみちゃん。
Hikari parted from everyone and went over to where Saya was.
さーや。何してんの？こんなと。
光。
Whoops, please
さ
finish.
ーや。何してんの？こんなところで。
光が何か失敗するんじゃないかってハラハラしながら聞いてたから疲れちゃって。
取り越し苦労だったね。
そうみたいだね。
Hold on, give me that second bottle. Fuck off. Yeah. Can't fucking reach properly.
すごく良かったよ、光。私ちょっと感動しちゃった。
そうかそうか。さすが三日月天文クラブの同志。
あの頃の夜空を取り戻したいって光は思ってるんだね。
うん、そうだよ。さやは違うの？
私はわかんない。
Hey, Saya! Called out as I walked over to where they were talking. Monika wanted to talk about the website. She wants to know if she can use Hikari's speech on the site.
すぐ行く。じゃあね、光。
うん。
Why are you just staring?
なんかさや変だったから。さやは取り戻したくないのかな。あの頃みたいな明るい夜を。
Huh?
なんでもない。それじゃあ片付けに取り掛かりますか。
Tonight's observation wasn't planned for all night. We would have to leave while the trains were still running. Our important speech had been a success. With adulation in our hearts, we started cleaning up after stargazing. Oh, back to elementary. Elementary, dear Watson. Anyways, I don't know what that was.
おばちゃん、バリバリ君もう一本もらうね。
ひかりちゃん、また当たり引いたのかい？
Like, all I can imagine is just like a fucking huge ass pile like next to her, all with like winning popsicles. Like, can I get one? Can I get another? Jesus Christ, please! You're gonna like run my shop to the ground.
アキト、半分食べる？
No, I'm good. I can't believe you can eat popsicles when it's so cold.
それがいいんだよ。キーンってなる感じがさ。
If you want the feeling of the cold, how about you jump in the goddamn river? Anyway, science is late.
来た。
Sai had on sunglasses when she appeared in front of the Sao Tome candy store.
こんにちは。
やあ、天の川さん。
Hey, what's with the sunglasses? Sorry, jump.
ほら、アキト、言い方が怖いよ。
Sorry.
ねえ、なんでまたサングラスしてるの？
だってみんなが見てるから。
Did someone call her out on the whole, oh my god, she's the child of a cheater again? Because if someone did, Akito better find them and beat the shit out of them. Saya hung her head as if she was worried about people staring at her. But we were the only ones here. This village, there weren't too many people to be stared at by anyway. Keep your chin up, your eyes are really pretty. We saw them went to Alberio together, didn't we? Saying this, I took off Saya's sunglasses. Multicolored eyes, one what? Her multicolored eyes, one blue and one a yellowish orange, shine in the sun. Didn't they use amber to describe it before?
あら、さやちゃん、いらっしゃい。
こんにちは。
もう、本当にさやちゃんの目は綺麗ね。
The old lady from the candy store peeked at Saya's eyes.
学校以外じゃ、今もサングラスしてんの？
I mean, that stands out even more. We had met up for our newly formed Mikazuki Astronomy Club. After our class's successful stargazing, we agreed to meet here and eat sweets while we talk about planning the next one. Shadi and I were already friendly, but we hadn't really talked to Saya at all. She was always like this, shy and reserved. I'm taking these.
困るよ。
Hold on.
自信持ちなって。さやは可愛いんだから。あ、さやって呼んでいい？天の川さんって長くてまどろっこしいし。
いいよ。
じゃあ、私のことも光って呼んで。
わかった。やってみる。
Saya looked slightly determined. It seemed it took some effort for her to call someone by their first name.
かりちゃん。
ギリギリ合格。
サラミくん。
Yo. Maybe because that just seemed scary to her, or because I was a boy, she couldn't call me naturally by my first name. I didn't really care which it was. Sorami wasn't as long as Amanogawa anyways.
あんたら、新しい豚まん、食べてみるかい？
何欲しい？
まだ試作品なんだけどね。はいよ、ピザマン。
ピザ？アキト、ピザだって！
Kari took it and ripped it sloppily into three.
はい、アキト。こっちの大きいの、さやにあげよう。
ありがとう。
Saya blushed and kept glancing at me every time Hikari called me Akito. She really wants to call him Akito.
いただきまーす。
どうだい？
おいしい！何これおいしい！
I think I like the regular pork buns better. How about you?
おいしいと思う。
おやおや、女の子には好評だね。
おいしいよ。これがピザなんだ。すごい。とうとう三日月村にもピザがやってきたよ。
Jesus Christ, this place must be out in the sticks. The thing is, I have two villages, quote unquote, to compare this to, and I live right in the middle of both. They seem even worse than Felix and Cell. So yeah. My god. Actually, no, they do have a shop there, so maybe they're better. Anyways, Guy was excited just because it was pizza. No, this isn't pizza. It's a pizza-flavored pork bun. She wasn't listening. Mikazuki Village, which didn't even have a convenience store, had no pizza delivery. So Hikari was blown away by her first taste of pizza, but I knew that they had frozen pizzas at the supermarket.
得したね、アキト。
Yep. Saya was looking sadly at her half-eaten pizza bun.
どうしたの、さや。美味しくなかった？は
Hikari and I looked at each other, not sure what she had said suddenly. Was that my name? Saya nodded with a frozen expression, looked like she was going to cry.
いいね、それ。あっくんか。うん。私もそれで呼ぼう。
Saya looked shocked and shook her head at Hikari. But Hikari didn't notice.
ねえ、あっくん。この後どうする？
Saya bit her lip and looked at Hikari. Were those tears in her multicolored eyes from... Were the tears in her multicolored eyes from frustration? Okay, then I'll call you Saya. Or how about Sa?
さっちゃんだともういるよ。
That was a game not called Sachi in our class that everyone called Sa. Okay, then it's Saya. Hamadagawa is pretty long. Saya looked excitedly and nodded excitedly and stuffed her cheeks with the pizza
よ
bun.
ーし、あっくん、さや、作戦会議を始めよう。我ら三日月天文クラブ、最初の観測計画を立てるんだ。
Hikari opened the book she borrowed from the library on the bench. He gathered round, saying this and that. With every turn of the page, each one with a picture of stars we didn't know, our imaginations soared. At that time, we didn't even question our hopes and dreams for the future.
これいいんじゃない？どう思う、あっくん。
Yeah,
またあっくんって呼んだ。
she seems very bothered by the fact that she's also calling him Akun. By the way, Hikari got tired of Akun right away and went back to my first name. The name Akun became only Saya's thing.
なんでよ。
Hikari looked like she was ready to strangle someone. Honoka, looking troubled, was trying to explain the situation.
ですから、ハーバータウンのツリーのイルミネーションは消灯できないと。
だから、
Fuck.
なんでとき。
Please
ですから、ハー
finish.
バータウンのツリーのイルミネーションは消灯できないと。先日のスタッフの方から連絡がありました。
聞いてるの？
Settle down, Hikari. Honoka looked like she was having trouble, so I peeled Hikari off her. Instead of explaining, Honoka showed us her PC monitor. The email from Manabe was displayed on the screen.
偉い人たちを一生懸命説得したんだけどさ、やっぱりダメだったよ。上司が言うには、昔は星がもっと見えたっていうのは君たちの記憶が美化されてるだけじゃないのか。
Okay, his boss is a fucking idiot. If he just, like, looked it up for, like, a second, he would know that that's actually a fucking thing!
そんな曖昧な理由でイルミネーションを消せるわけがないだろう。
Use the
そうじゃ
fuck!
ないと言い切れる根拠があるなら別だが。
The internet exists, you absolute technologically challenged ignoramus!
とまあ、そう言われちゃうと俺じゃあどうにもならなくてさ、ほんとごめん。
なんとなくこうなる予感はしてた。
話のわかる感じの兄ちゃんだったっすけど、
あんまり権限を持ってるようには見えなかったですもんね。
That big lit up tree was set up to draw people to Harbor Town. That they couldn't shut it down for such a vague reason was an understatement.
わかったわよ。見せてやるわよ、根拠を。
Just send him a fucking link of an explanation of that shit! It's that easy! Because if that absolute fucking moron is too lazy to fucking look it up, you look it up for him and send it to him at least. But anybody fucking do it! Anyways. Yeah. By the way, we started searching the web. We searched to see if the Hoshinonaka's night sky was recorded anywhere.
SNS でも呼びかけてみましょう。
We put up a request for information on star-like Project Starlight's SNS account.
コロナたちも。
うちの先輩たちが撮った写真の中にいいのがあるかもしれない。
うちは写真は撮ってないっすけど、先輩らが書いた星空ポエムにいいのがあるかもしれないっす。
I'll search for proof of the bright sky from before. The book, but it wasn't easy to find. We could only find records of special places or famous stargazing spots. Just who would have left a record of Hoshinonaka's night sky? Even so, we didn't lose hope. The old founding members, the Six Stars Club, were in this town. Clinging to that thread of hope, we decided to keep searching the web, but also ask our elders.
星空。星空。
Don't use your phone when you walk, it's dangerous. We were on our way home from the meeting. Everyone else took the bus, but I had my bike and was walking back to Mikuzuki Station with Hikari.
そうだ、ハーバータウンのプラネタリウムに博物館あるよね。あそこに何か展示とかされてないかな。
There might be pictures. We probably could have found pictures elsewhere too. In the very least, Nishihai had been taking pictures of the stars since a long time ago. But I knew that just pictures wouldn't be evidence that we could see more stars before. Because the pictures, the number of stars changed depending on the settings. But since it was better than nothing, we had gathered them. Pictures were taken from the same place with the same settings over time. That would be certain evidence.
そういや、さやどうしたんだろうね。
Hikari mumbled while looking at her phone.
展示来てないや。
Saya hadn't come to today's meeting. She's probably busy helping with the comic. I said that, but she hadn't replied to me yet either, so I was a little concerned. Hikari dialed a number on her phone and put it to her ear.
出ない。もう、さやにも手伝ってほしいのに。
Hikari complained as she hung up and put her phone in her pocket. I'll tell her later. I was sure she'd come to the store that night.
頼むよ、彼氏。
Want to come by the store?
やめとく。最近帰るの遅かったし。
Hikari set this while she looked into the store to make sure Saya wasn't there. Kotaro came out of his house with his tail wagging and snuggled up to
あ
Hikari.
んたはいいね。毎日のんびり幸せそうで。
I stopped my bicycle and was in the middle of thinking whether to get changed right away or not when the door to the store off the store opened. Miss Mieru came out.
あんたら、いいところに帰ってきたわ。
早乙女先生、どうかしたんですか？
Miss Mieru glanced around like she was looking for someone else.
さや、一緒じゃないの？
She didn't come today.
っていうか、メッセージ送っても返事もないし。
Something going on at her home.
そう。
What about
さ
her?
っき、あの子のお母さんが来ててね。なんか、家出しちゃったっていうのよ。
Huh?
家で？
書き置き残して、どっか行っちゃったんだって。あんたら、心当たりない？
知りません。てか、何なんですか家出って。
Did something happen?
あったみたい。
Miss Mieru told us the news with a troubled face.
どう？
Nope, she's not here. How about telling us the news?
ここもか。どこ行っちゃったのよ、さや。
Hikari sighed and leaned against the abandoned train car. After talking to Miss Mieru, we started searching for Saya right away. If anyone knew about her whereabouts, it should have been Hikari and I. But not only did we not know where she had gone, but we couldn't even contact her. We asked everyone in the Six Stars Club, but nobody knew anything.
念のため白鳥さんにも聞いてみたけど、知らないって言ってたもんね。
No, that was no. Now there was nowhere else where Saya could be, not as far as we could think anyway. We had thought that if Saya was hiding somewhere, this would be it, but we had been wrong.
さや、大丈夫かな。
Hikari whispered worriedly. The news Miss Mieru had given us about Saya had been kind of complicated.
なんかね、 あの子昨日の夜一人でどっかふらついてて、夜回りの先生に見つかっちゃったらしいのよ。あの学校厳しいでしょ。それで今日親を学校に呼び出されてお説教。その後親子喧嘩してさやは出て行っちゃったって。ねえ、昨日さや来てたの？あんた送ってってあげなかったの？
ねえ、さや昨日お店に来なかったんだよね。
No, she didn't. Maybe the teacher had found her as she had been on her way to the store. It hadn't been that late. I'll say since girls strict enough to call in your parents for going to a convenience store at night.
あの子、こないだも一人でどっか行ってたよね。どこ行ってたの？
お散歩。
何やってんのよ、本当に。
Hikari, her voice raked with worry, looked at her smartphone again. There was no reply. I'm sure she'll contact us at some point.
そうだね。
We couldn't help anything here. We walked down the mountain. It's already late. Go home, Hikari.
でも。
We came back to the station, and Hikari was wondering whether to go home or not. I'll keep looking for her. Still in his doghouse, Kotaro's ears perked up and he raised his head. Then he started barking. Was it time for the man to work him, or was it... Saya? When I called out, I sensed someone jump in the shadows. Saya! I called out again, and the petite girl's form appeared from the shadow of the wall.
Saya!
Hikari ran over.
もう、さや、何してたのよ。心配したんだから。
Hikari hung her head with a stiff expression and didn't answer Hikari. Sire, Mom was looking for you. She said you ran away.
あっくんの部屋に泊めてほしい。
Biting her lips, Saya said this with a small voice. What are you talking about? There's no way you can.
そうだよ、さや。おばさんに心配かけちゃダメでしょうが。
お母さんなんて知らない。
I heard you got called into your school, but did something happen? Never mind that. Why did Saya fight with her mother? Saya's face stiffened further and she went quiet.
さや
Hikari peered worriedly at Saya's face. Saya turned her face away as if to escape Hikari's
あっ
gaze.
くんとのお付き合いのこと言われた。
Huh?
ダメだって言われた。
Oh wow, she's a bitch. Tears welled up in Saya's
家
eyes.
に帰りたくない。あっくんの部屋に一緒に住む。
Live in my room.
ダメに決まってるでしょ。
Hikari spoke before I could open my
な
mouth.
おさらダメじゃん、そんなの。余計おばさんに、アキトとのこと許してもらえなくなるよ。
Saya glared at Saya. What's with that comma? Why's that comma there? Saya glared at
ど
Hikari.
うして光が口出すの？これは私とあっくんの問題なのに。
Hey, Hikari, are you okay? Hikari's eyes lost their light, and she looked so troubled that I started worrying about her, even in the current situation.
もういい。あっくんのことも知らない。
Hey, Saya! Saya ran away. I ran after her. Saya! But somehow I lost her in the darkness. Saya wasn't very fast, but she was smart. Even though she was upset, Saya must have had her wits about her. Knowing that I was faster, she must have already realized I would catch her. She must have hid somewhere and waited for me to pass. I couldn't find Saya and ended up wandering the night streets of Mikuzuki village. An hour and a half later, I got a text from Saya.
安全な寝床を確保したから、もう探さないで。
At this point, I would literally just text her, no. Like, he has every reason to worry. Like, I would keep searching, probably.
探してはみたけど、使えそうな写真はありませんでした。
Toyota hung his head in shame. It seemed that yesterday, after the meeting, Toyota had gone straight to school to search for pictures of the Hoshinonaka night sky. But he hadn't been able to find any pictures to use as proof to persuade Harbour Town. Everyone was a little discouraged by Toyoda's news, but we had also expected it. Don't apologize, we expected
いや
this.
でも
Toyoda had rarely been that
取って
persistent.
満足するんじゃなく記録として残してあればあるいは使えたかもしれない。前に空見たちがつけてた観測ノート見せてくれたことはあっただろ。
Yeah, Kari and I looked at each other. Our planetary observation journal.
あんな記録をもしつけていたらって思うとさ。
そうだな。
Kawana Kajima folded his arms in sighed in agreement.
珍しい天体現象を撮影したり綺麗な写真を撮ったりもいいけど記録を残すことも大事だって思ったんだ。
ただ見て楽しむのも悪くはないっすが、それだけじゃ誰かの役には立たね
そうですね。我々ムツラ星の会もそういった長い目で見て有意義な活動を行っていきたいものですね。
Everyone was down and introspective for some reason. Kari hurriedly cheered everyone up.
それならもうできてるじゃん。プレアデス1号の制作日誌は後輩に受け継がれるし、他にもさ、ちゃんと残せてると思うよ。
Project Starlight isn't a simple festival. If we keep a record of it, I know that someone in the future can use it if we do something similar. Of course, it would be the best to leave a record of success.
そうですね。星の中の天文の発展のために末永く受け継がれる活動をしていきましょう。
はい。
うっす。
ところで昨日連絡があったさやさんの件ですが。
I haven't heard from her since the text about her finding a place to sleep. But it looks like she went to school. There had been a text from the Station Girls Academy, from the Station Girls Astronomy Club.
速報、我天の川さんと接触せり。
Did she come to school?
はい。
So what happened? Did she say anything?
普通だったと思います。家出のことを尋ねたら大丈夫だと伝えてくれと言ってましたです。
I see, thank
い
you.
え、報告は以上です。そうですか。
Everyone was relieved for now that she was fine.
たくみんなに心配かけて何やってんのよあの子は。っていうか
Whoops.
たくみん
Please
な
finish.
に心配かけて何やってんのよあの子は。っていうか私らには連絡返しなさいよね。
Gotti said this, disgruntled, and leaned against the
私らに
chair.
はそうだね。
身を寄せられそうなところは全部調べたんすよね。
Yeah, we asked Sa's friend from the Station Girls, but they didn't even know she ran away. Asked her friends on the bus that morning. Hey, do you have a minute? You're friends with Saya, right?
はい。さやの彼氏さん？
Yeah, it's me.
どうしよう。さやの彼氏に喋りかけられちゃった。
I'd worked in the morning, and instead of going to school on my bike, I rode the bus and talked to Saya's
い
friend.
つも窓から見てます。かっこいいですよね。その制服。星野大地ですか？背高いですね。さやとお似合いで。
Hey, did Saya go over to your house last night? I couldn't carelessly tell the friends from school that she ran away, so I asked that why.
昨日ですか？いいえ、来てないですよ。っていうか、さやがうちに遊びに来たことないです。うち、親がうるさいから。
Oh, okay then. Sorry I bothered you.
もしかして、喧嘩でもしたんですか？
Something like that. She didn't seem to be lying, so she probably didn't know anything.
さやさ、マジで私たちにも居場所わからないようにしてるよね。
Like, thing is, like, Saya's mom seemed rather nice when we saw her, and also, like, she seemed to like Akito pretty much. She seemed to pretty much like Akito. So you would expect her to be okay with this. So I want to know why she's saying no to that. Yeah, if she was depending on someone from school, Hikari and I didn't know who it was. Hikari was moody and silent. Are you okay, Hikari?
何が？
I mean,
して光が口出すの？これは私とあっくんの問題なのに。
No, it's nothing. I didn't need to be really shocked, but she was still down. And she was still down. Even I was surprised Saya would say something like that. And I remembered how strange Saya had been acting on the night of this. Then I remembered how strange Saya had been acting on the night of the stargazing. Don't think too much about it.
他にあの子が頼りそうな人。ねえコロナ、あんた誰か思いつく人いる？三日月村の誰かとかさ。
Corona jumped in surprise.
なんでそんなびっくりしてんのよ。
She's at her
変な
place.
子ね。
She's at her place.
何にも知らないよ。
She's at
だ
her
ってあの
place.
人と全然仲良くないし。
She's at her place.
そうよね。
我々があまり口を出すことではありませんが、もし協力が必要なら言ってくださいね。
Thank you very much.
で、こっちはどうするっすか？
She's at Corona's place. Kamada Kajima returned to the subject at hand. They asked a few of the original members of the club, but the results had been mostly the same as Nishi High. There were many pictures and recordings, but they had all been of unrelated places, non-specific to Hojinonaka's stars. We had also found some articles on the internet, but nothing that we could really use.
今集まっている資料では、ハーバータウンを説得するのは難しいでしょう。
となると、3を諦めるかどうかですね。
I mean, instead of like making them okay, how about for like one day instead of like a whole day, just to show you, turn it off for 30 minutes. Just look up at the sky, turn it off, look at up at the sky, and look up at the sky again like 30 minutes later. You'll see the difference, motherfucker. Anyways. Kari, the mastermind of it all, was thinking quietly. It would be easier to just give up on the tree, but doing so would mean that we would lose many potential people to our cause. Suppose things like handing out flyers or putting the word out on the internet was only going to get us far. So far. We needed something bigger. And we thought that Harbor Town's tree had the potential to be that something bigger. Let's keep trying to find materials. There are still old members we haven't contacted.
結局ダメになるにしても、やるだけやってからの方がいいっす。
そうですね。では、各自資料集めお願いします。
Everyone agreed and the meeting ended.
ただいま。おかえり、コロナちゃん。先に帰ってたんだ。これケーキ、おばさんがおやつにって。こんな押しかけ居候にケーキなんか出さなくていいのに。
Corona tossed her bag on the bed angrily and stuffed her cheeks rudely with cake.
何してたの？勉強だよ。もうすぐ期末テストだし。
家出してるくせに真面目か。
コロナちゃんは勉強してる？迷惑かけちゃってるし、わからないところがあったら見るよ。
じゃあ後でちょっとだけ見て。
いいよ。
Corona had been letting me stay in her room since last night. After I escaped from Aki, I had been hanging around a DVD rental store with nowhere to go, and I had met Corona when she came to return a movie.
家出してきた？不良だ！あんたとんでもない不良だよ！
し、声大きいよ。それでね、行くところがないの。コロナちゃんの部屋に泊めてもらえないかな。
なんでコロナの部屋なの？ピカリンチ行けばいいじゃん！
もう電車がないから光の家には行けないよ。それに光とは。
じゃあ君は？ダメ今のなし。なんかすごく不健全な感じがする。もしコロナが断ったらきっとこの の人夜の街に消えていくんだ。それでとんでもない不良になって、そんなことになったらコロナのせいだ。ヒカリンにもアキ兄にも顔向けできないよ。
Corona gripped her head and squatted down.
コロナちゃん、三日月町に夜の街なんてないよ。まだ開いてるお店、ここか早乙女くらいだよ。
Stopping by would never become a hangout for delinquents. Aki always drove them off, and the manager was angry when she was scary when she was angry. Was angry when she was angry, yes, that would, smart. And the kids our age in the area knew Miss Miyoru. They wouldn't do anything bad there.
わかったよ。今晩だけだからね。
I had to half force my way into it, but I was grateful.
今は、あっくんにも光にも会いたくないもん。
Aki wasn't even listening to me, and as for Hikari, like, you wouldn't know! When he said that, okay. Staying in my room would only make the situation worse. You have not even attempted to explain the situation. If anything, you're withholding the details, causing him to say no!
ひどいこと言っちゃったし。
So I felt bad and ran away, unable to look them in the eye. I was sure that they wouldn't be able to imagine that Corona was sheltering me. It was the only place they still hadn't looked.
アキ兄とピカリンがものすごく心配してたよ。
I knew from all the unanswered calls and texts. I ignored all of them.
何があったの？
お母さんとちょっと喧嘩しちゃっただけだよ。
2 nights before, a teacher had found me while I was walking home alone. While I was walking alone. The next day, my mother was called into school. At school, I had been thought of as the model honor student. But my fraternizing with other students and visiting other schools when I was out of school was frowned upon by the Seisen girls' teachers. Also, I had started dating a boy lately. The teachers were keeping an eye on my behavior, and after being found outside at night by myself, the teachers had called a meeting with my mom. My mother being my mother, she sided with the teachers and had come home and scolded me.
本当なの？さや、男子とお付き合いするのはあまりいいこととは思えないわ。お母さん、反対よ。
Wait, so she hasn't even told her who the boy is? Like, if that's the problem, I feel like it'll be solved if she just says it's Akito. I never thought my mother would say that. We ended up arguing. I pretended to run away to cool my head, and after what happened with with Aki and Hikari, I ended up running away for real.
お母さんと喧嘩してるのに、なんでアキ兄やピカリンからも逃げてるの？連絡つかないって言ってたよ。
それは、
アキ兄とも喧嘩したの？
I lowered my head to avoid Corona's gaze.
言いたくない。
She's letting you stay! The least you can do is tell her! She is involved now! Looking unsatisfied, Corona stabbed her fork into her cake and stuffed the entire thing into her mouth.
武士の情けで聞かないでおいてあげるわ。けど気が済んだら家帰ってね。
ありがとう、コロナちゃん。
なんでコロナがこんなの？
おーい、コロナいるのか？
お兄ちゃんだ。隠れて隠れて。
入るぞ。
まだ入っていいって言ってないでしょ。
おお、終わり。
てか友達が来てるから部屋に来ないでって言ったじゃん、バカお兄ちゃん。
What friend?
いや、そのお友達が死ぬほど可愛いって母ちゃんがうっせえからよ。
全然可愛くないし、ずうずうしいだけの居候だから見なくていい。
like Takeichi's just gonna be like, that behavior. Saya, get the fuck out of the closet!
っていうかお兄ちゃん汗臭いんだからさっさと出てけ。
わーったわーった、押すなって言って蹴るな。
今度入ってきたら竹槍でお尻つくからね。
おお、怖っ。
もういいよ。
危なかった。
I came out of the closet that I had quickly hid in. If Taki found me, he'd tell Aki right away. I had told Korona's mom that I was just a friend of Korona's, but I was really shy. She had let me just stay in the room and even eat in here too.
ごめんね、コロナちゃん。なるべく迷惑かけないようにするから。
いいよ。もうかかりまくりだから。
今日はこれ持ってきたから、一緒のベッドで寝なくて済むよ。
Wait, just staying? I set this and spread out some stuff from my bag.
何それ？寝袋？
うん。今日学校の帰りに家に寄って取ってきたの。
I'd gone home while my mother wasn't there.
そんなので寝るの？家の中なのに？
うん。変かな。
変だよ、超変！布団だったらお母さんに言って出してもらうし。
でも敷くスペースなさそうだし、それに迷惑でしょ？私のことなら気にしないで。寝袋って暖かいんだよ。それに外や廃液の秘密基地で寝るよりずっと快適だもん。
はあ、あんたってさ、結構ずぶといよね、見た目によらず。
It's so fucking funny to me that Akito didn't realize, like, he's staying at Corona's, isn't she?
そう？鍛えられたんじゃないかな、あっくんと光に。
if I couldn't sleep in a sleeping bag, I couldn't play with those two.
他にも着替えとか歯ブラシとか必要なもの持ってきたの。
I set this and emptied my bag.
これパジャマ？あ、かわいい、もこもこしてる。
でしょ？お気に入りなの。暖かいんだよ。
化粧水だ！こんなの使ってるんだ。
冬場は乾燥するしね。コロナちゃんも使ってみる？お肌がしっとりするよ。他にもね。
As I was showing Corona the things I always used, I realized I was missing something.
あれ？
どうしたの？
I flipped my bag upside down to search. Clothes, handkerchief, towel, wallet, ticket case, study materials. I got everything out to check, but I couldn't find it.
ない。どうしよう。
I just went blank for a while.
しちゃった。私の絶対になくしたくないもの。
The charm that I always carried with me. The talisman was very important. That was very important. The talisman was very important to me, and it looked like I dropped it somewhere. I raked my memory.
多分、あの時だ。
It was the only time I could think of. I looked for my lost talisman, lighting the dark with a flashlight. If I dropped it, it would have been then, when the teacher had found me that night. I guess I had just been so upset that I had dropped it, but I couldn't see it anywhere.
ねえ、お腹空いたしもう諦めて帰ろうよ。
Honest to God, I really wanted Akita to show up. Look for this.
コロナちゃんは先に帰ってていいよ。
置いて帰れるわけないじゃん。あんた一人で夜中で歩いてて、先生に見つかって叱られたんで。
Whoops. Fuck. Please
置い
finish.
て帰れるわけないじゃん。あんた一人で夜中で歩いてて、先生に見つかって叱られたんでしょ？そんなに大切なものなの？
あれがないと。私。
Tears I was holding back welled up.
もう、あっくんと会えないよ。
なんで？プレゼントか何か？一緒に謝ってあげるからさ。
そんなんじゃないの。
I sniffed as I searched the grass by the train tracks.
今ね、プロジェクトスターライトが大変なんだよ。
そうなの？
うん。ハーバータウンのツリー、このままじゃ消してもらえないって。コロナも家帰って資料探しやりたいのに。探し物なら明日にしなよ。こんなに暗くちゃ見つかりっこないって。明日だったらコロナも手伝ってあげるからさ。
I nodded and started pushing through the grass bitterly.
なんとか資料と呼べそうなものを集めてみました。
Monica passed out copies of everything we had gathered from the old members in Ishihai and the internet. I could hardly you could hardly call it proof of Hoshinonaka's bright sky from before. Hikari and I scowled as we looked at the
こ
materials.
んな断片的な資料じゃ何の根拠にもならないよ。
The thing is, it doesn't need to be Hoshinonaka's night sky before. You just need to show them two identical pictures of the night sky taken at the same spot with different light conditions. And show it to them. That is proof enough. Anyways. We'll just have to appeal to their emotions. Even though I said that, it didn't really sit right with me. Being engaged in the science of astronomy, it felt like we had to appeal to emotion. Being engaged to the science of astronomy, it felt like we had to appeal to emotions. If it felt like we had to appeal to emotions, then we weren't going about it the right way. Besides, if all we had were emotions to go off, then we would hardly be giving any real evidence to evidence, and Harbor Town was unlikely to reconsider.
これを資料だって言って提出するくらいなら諦めた方がいいと思う。
Hikari said this with a pained face. You're right. It would reflect badly on us if we went ahead at this point. Especially if the Six Stars Club wanted to contribute to the advancement of astronomy in Hoshinonaka.
はあ。
We sighed and sat heavily on our chairs. Today, each school was doing their own thing, but Honoka and Hikari had come to our room as always. But Korona had taken the day off. She had said that there was something she had to do and had gone home early.
さやもコロナもいないと静かだね。
Sai is always quiet.
あの子がいないと私が静かになるもん。
She said this unhappily. Since the other night, Hikari sometimes looked lost in thought. Maybe it was because of the project, but I knew it was because of what Saya had said. Don't worry about it so much. She just said it because she was angry.
うん。
Hikari still looked troubled as she answered. It seemed Saya had been going to school today as well. Today. So I waited by her school gates for classes to end. I could probably see her, but it wouldn't be wise. Saya had been warned about her activities outside of school. If I was seen waiting outside her school, it would make her situation worse. It was Saya we were talking about. She was probably expecting something like that. She would likely leave school as soon as class ended, so I wouldn't make it unless I skipped my last class.
アキト、そろそろ時間だよ。
You're right. Sorry, Honoka. We're going to Saya's house now.
うん、わかりました。
We had told her about it earlier. Hinami, make sure to close up.
了解であります、部長。
Kari and I left Honoka and Hinami behind and left the room. I'm sorry, this is my fault. As I bowed in apology, Saya's mother tilted her head with a troubled expression. I heard that there was some trouble at school because we started dating.
待って。
Saya's mother blinked and looked at Hikari and I.
サヤがお付き合いしているのって、アキトくんだったの？
I called it! She seemed way too, open, way too open, towards Akito. It seemed like she genuinely liked the guy as a person. So I feel like she wouldn't be opposed if he was the one she was dating. And that was the case. I'm good. I'm gonna go take a piss. Okay, I'm back. Yes, that's right. Her mom looked shocked, but also seemed to understand.
ごめんなさい。私勘違いをしていたわ。
What do you mean?
だって、アキトくんはヒカリちゃんと。
私？
Hikari was surprised by her name so suddenly and pointed at herself, her face looking puzzled. Then she shook her head and hands
違い
furiously.
ますアキトの彼女はサヤです。
そうだったのね。それであの子、あんなに怒って。
And why she was so angry at Hikari. Her face looked like she finally understood. Then she put her hand to her forehead as if she had a headache.
じゃあママはサヤがアキトじゃないどっかの誰かと付き合ってるって思ってたの？
学校の先生からよその学校に出入りしたり、夜中に出かけて何かしているって聞いて。ほら、この前もそういうことがあったじゃない？
Well, are you walking at this hour?
星のダムのあたりかな。
Saya had gone somewhere in the middle of the night. Neither Ikari or I knew where she was going. Of course, neither did her mother. But it's still the same. It's all because she came to our school and the rumors started.
おでんを持って行ってたんでしょ。
Yes.
そのおでんを作ったのは私なのよ。それに、アキト君とは幼馴染だもの。別に構わないわ。
So Saya's mom had been angry because she thought Saya was going around with somebody she didn't know. Saya usually had food her mom made with her when she came to see me. She probably felt much safer knowing her daughter wasn't sneaking around. Saya's mother, looking relieved, sat down on the side of the
別
bed.
に学校へ呼び出されたせいで怒ったわけじゃないの。あの子が私のようになったらどうしようってあの子は思い詰めると本当に一途になるから。それはいい結果ばかりを生むとは限らないわ。誰かを好きになりすぎてバランスを崩してしまうことだってある。
She said that much and shook her head as if to banish her thoughts.
なんてのはただの言い訳ね。あの子は私とは違うのに。
She sighed as she spoke. Her words conveyed the harshness of being adult. It was a little hard to bear. Back when Sai had changed schools, there had been a rumor. People had said that Sai's mother had run away, but came back to the village in the end. It's a small village, so the rumor spread, and some people they said it insultingly. I didn't know the truth, and didn't want to. That Sai's mother that I knew was a nice woman who did her best to raise her daughter in that village. Sai was a good daughter. That's all I needed to know.
ごめんなさい。変な話を聞かせてしまって。わかってるのよ。あの子が勉強を頑張っていい子でいるのは私のためだって。実際すごく助けられているのよ。
Sai was good. The prejudices of the old ladies in the neighborhood would fade. Thanks to Sai's efforts, there was now no one who spoke badly of Sai's mother.
でもそのせいで無理をさせてるんだとしたら。
それは大丈夫なんじゃないかな。
Hikari continued as she thought.
あの子頑張ってるけど無理してる感じじゃないです。ねえアキト。
Yeah, I agree.
それに結構好きなこともやってるし、通い妻とかね。
Hikari said this while smiling teasingly. Hey, Hikari!
通い妻？
I'm sorry, she got that nickname because she brought Odin to our school so many times. Was she also called that? Sai's mom burst out laughing.
やっぱり私に似ちゃったのかしら。うんうん。一途で頑固なところは私以上ね。きっと。
I'm sorry. As I bowed my head again, Hikari grinned and poked me in the side.
よかったじゃん。ママ公認だよ。
Shut up. Watching us, Sam's mom smiled kindly.
あなたたちがあの子の友達になってくれて、
Got
本当
a
によ
new
かったわ。
mosquito bite on my shin.
三日月村へ来る前はあの子よく仲間外れにされていたみたいだったから、転校先でもいじめられたらどうしようって。
ママ。
Sai's mom was closer to us than just our friend's mom. Probably because she felt that way too.
あんな子だけどこれからもよろしくね、ひかりちゃん、あきとくん。
もちろんだよママ。
Certainly will. She still hadn't made up with her daughter, and she didn't know where Sai was sleeping. But the understanding seemed to relieve her. But there was one more mystery to solve. That's why we were here today. Also, Miss Amanogawa.
あ、そうだったわね。どうぞ好きに見てちょうだい。あなたたちにならあの子も怒らないでしょう。
Thank you very much. We found what we were looking for right
あれじゃ
away.
ない？
Kari picked up a tote bag off a shelf. It was the bag Saya had when she was walking alone at night. She didn't seem to want to let anyone see inside.
ママ、中見ちゃうね。
We think that the reason Saya walks alone at night might be inside. Neither Hikari or I knew what was inside, or had any guess. I opened the tote bag, prepared for some terrible secret to fly out.
ノート
There were 3 notebooks inside. Also inside were writing utensils, a flashlight covered in red cellophane, and as well as earmuffs and gloves for winter. Those are the goddamn materials they need to convince the goddamn Harbor Town representatives, aren't they? Gotta open the notebook.
これ、何
Looks like sketches. I didn't know what the drawings were at first. There were many dots written on the light graph paper. There were small dots, large dots, and hazy dots. Other than that, there were azimuth points, what looked like the silhouettes of a mountain range, and weather records written periodically. I realized I recognized the position of the dots. They were stars. These are sketches of the stars. Kari flipped through the
全
notebook.
部のページに同じようなスケッチが書いてある。この一冊だけじゃないよ。こっちのノートも。
The more we turned the pages, the more we were amazed. It was an unmistakable stargazing record. Also,
5年分ある。
Hikari whispered this after opening the first page of the oldest notebook.
何これ。どういうこと
I don't know, but this means that Saya was drawing these when she was out alone at night. At a pace of once a week for 5 years. Notes recording her stargazing. What for? Why did she do this by herself? We had solved the mystery of Saya's night walks, only to discover an even bigger mystery. Or so it would seem.
ねえ、アキト、これって。
Yeah, that's exactly what we were looking for. But more than anything, we couldn't believe what we were seeing. As we turned through the pages, I almost forgot to breathe.
そのノートがどうかしたの？
これ、星空のスケッチです。さやはこれを描くために、夜中一人で出歩いてたんだよ。
星空のスケッチ。
We could barely comprehend it, and for Sa's mom, who didn't know much about astronomy, it would have been really hard to understand. But it was definitely evidence she wasn't doing anything shady. Saya was Saya, as always. There might be something else. She looked around Saya's desk. There were astronomy books stacked on top of reference books she used for studying. As I made to grab them, I noticed something under the books. This
それ、
was the love letter Saya wrote me. She was still keeping it.
ごめんなさい。そろそろ私仕事に戻らないと。
Saya's mom said this, looking at the clock. She had come back to the house on her break for us. Sorry to trouble you.
これ、借りてっていいですか？
ええ。ひかりちゃんたちならいいと思うわ。
これがあれば、ハーバータウンを説得できる。ね、アキト。
Yeah. I replaced the love letter as I answered. As I picked up the astronomy books on top, there was one more thing I noticed. What the?
どうしたの？
No, it's nothing. We took Saya's sketches and left the room. The talisman. The talisman was there, wasn't it? She's still looking, she can't find it.
なんだよね。
赤い色してる。ないね。
It was after school the next day, and I was searching for my lost charm. Corona had come to help me look, but so far we hadn't found
本
anything.
当にここで落としたの？
間違いないと思う。でも、この道のどこかまでは。いいんだよ、付き合ってくれなくても。私一人で探すから。
大切なものなんでしょ？じゃあ手伝うしかないじゃん。部活休んじゃったよ。今日はアキニんとこでやるはずだったのに。
Corona helped me search as she voiced her complaints.
プロジェクトスターライト、うまくいってないの？
そうみたい。ピカリンたちが難しい話してて、よくわかんないんだけどね。ハーバータウンのツリーを消してもらえないかもって。 それでみんなで昔の資料とか探してるんだ。
そう。
I felt guilty that I wasn't helping out.
光たちの足を
No, 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 no. You actually have the solution to the problem!
本当だよ。このままだとプロジェクトうまくいかなくなっちゃうかも。そしたらコロナたちどうなっちゃうのかな。
星空が曇っちゃうね。
I muttered to myself as I waded through the bushes. A dark memory played over in my mind.
どうしたの？
なんでもない。
It felt like I was going to be ripped apart like the journal was that day, so I pushed the memory from my mind.
前から聞きたかったんだけどさ。あんた、なんで星を見てるの？
なんでって？
本当に星が好きなの？アキ兄のことが好きだから一緒にいただけじゃないの？
Corona asked sullenly.
そうかもしれない。
やっぱりそうなんだ。
Corona huffed.
だからコロナちゃんは私に突っかかってきてたの？
まあね、そんなところだよ。コロナには全てお見通しだったからね。
Corona would always pick fights with me but I never really hated her. I don't know why, but I sometimes find something congenial with her. I don't fucking know what that means, or hold on. Ah.
私ね、昔いじめられてたんだ。
そうなの？
この目のせいでね、みんなと違うからってからかわれたり仲間外れにされてた。
I heard that my eyes are different colors because my grandmother was from Northern Europe. My grandma on my dad's side. The grandma on my dad's side. I'd never met her, but I already had a bad impression of her. She was the one who gave me these eyes I hated so much.
初めてあっくんと会った日にいきなり目のことを言われて、私泣いちゃった。
They look like Albireo. Your eyes look like Albireo.
知ってるそれ。お兄ちゃんが言ってた。アキ兄がいきなり転校生を泣かせたって。
でもあっくんは意地悪で言ったんじゃなかったんだ。
He had said that they were beautiful like the double stars, Albireo. That must have been the first thing that he had thought when he had seen them.
それで光と二人で天体観測会を開いてくれて見せてくれたの。冬のアルビレオを。
Oops, it was my most precious memory. But Corona seemed unmoved. She looked bored by it.
それいけなかったもん。
光とあっくんは私を仲間に入れてくれて、それで一緒に星を見るようになった。だから星が好きなのか二人のことが好きなのか今でもよくわかんないよ。
Corona was
星
nodding.
を見ないアキ兄もピカリンも想像つかないもんね。
If I was friends with them, it made sense that I would also be into stargazing. But
あっくんは昔星を見ない天文部員だったんだよね。
そういやそうだね。なんで見なくなっちゃったんだっけ？ピカリンが引っ越してっちゃったから？
私のせい。
そうなの？
うん。
that's the reason why she drew the stars, so he could look at them without actually having to look up. Corona looked at me like she was confused, but I pretended not to notice and kept searching. I was sure that Hikari was desperately trying to fix what I had destroyed. I had done it again.
お守りをなくしたのはきっと罰が当たったんだ。やっぱり捨てなきゃダメなんだ。この気持ちを。
I was starting to believe that I would never find my charm no matter how hard I looked. I like this! Kari let out a long sigh after she had finished reading Saya's
す
notebook.
ごいね、このノート。
I was looking at them as well and nodded. That was 5 years worth of night sketches. It was a colossal amount of data that had been gathered at least once a week when the weather had been good. It was the fruit of a tremendous amount of hard work.
どうしてさやはこんなスケッチをつけてたんだろう。
I checked the earliest date of the sketches. She started about half a year after you moved. That's about when we became estranged. We weren't talking to each other back then. It was around that time that they had begun construction of the dam and had been relocating the people in Mizuki village. Do you like the stars so much that you began to draw them by yourself? Saying that out loud made me realize how unrealistic it seemed. So why would you draw the stars? However, what was the purpose of making all these recordings? I just couldn't understand her reasons.
これつい最近の分もあるよね。まだ続けてるってことでしょ。どうして私たちに言わなかったんだろう。
She was also not finished, apparently. I have no clue. Maybe because there wasn't a reason to. Maybe she just didn't want to tell us.
わかんないよ。親友のことなのに全然わかんない。
Kari looked a little sad as she said this. We were talking at the counter, and Miss Miyado came over and peeked over our
お
shoulders.
やまあ、こりゃまた地味なことを。
I want to get punched in the face.
これ、さやがつけてたの？
Yes.
へえ。
Miss Miyado looked dubiously at the
何
journals.
かの研究でもしてたのかね。
I don't know why these were recorded, but they might be able to change Harbor Town's opinion.
でもあの真鍋さんだっけ。あの人に任せて大丈夫かな。
He seemed like a nice person, but it felt like he might not be so reliable. And he didn't really know anything about astronomy. Could he really be good? Could he really make good use of Saya's technical records?
私の知り合い、紹介しようか？
いるんですか？ハーバータウンに。
うん、まあ、いるっちゃいる。
She looked as if she was starting to regret talking about it. Who is this friend? Do they know anything about astronomy?
そこは問題ない。多分、これ見せたら協力してくれると思う。
お願いします、先生。
It's the dude from the planetarium, isn't it?
でもこれ、しばらく預かることになるわよ。コピーでもいいけど、手書きの方が断然説得力あるし。
それはまずいですよね。
No matter the cause, this was Saya's hard work, and we couldn't just give it to someone without asking her permission first. Besides, we don't even know why she made these observations. Let's go and ask Saya.
そうだね。
She was still going to school, so it just might be possible. Then I got a message on my phone. Who is it? I was surprised when I saw the screen. Saya Monogawa. It's from Saya!
なんて書いてるの？
Hikari leaned forward and peeked at my phone. Saya's words were right there on the screen.
もうあっくんと一緒にはいられない。二人にはずっと星を見ててほしいから。
何？どういうこと？
Hikari was looking at me, hoping for an answer. I had no clue. I just knew that this was a farewell message. Don't you fucking do this to me. You know I can't stop until this is resolved. It was nearly at the end of February. It was nearly springtime, but the cold still felt like it was the middle of winter. The girls were camped around the heater as Saya and I were alone, not too far from them.
今日も寒いね。本当だね。
The boys were energetic. They were fighting with fake swords made of rolled up newspapers in the back of the room.
行くぞ、秋田！
Don't think that you can beat me! Octo had been hanging out with Taki quite a lot recently. I was watching them in the corner of my eyes as I thought about how graduation was upon us. It was normal for children not to talk to each other for a while after a fight. I thought it was the same with Octo and me, but I would be moving right after graduation. If that happened, Octo and I would never be friends again.
さや、あれどうした？
Saya was fidgeting as she blushed. She grabbed my sleeve and dragged me behind the curtains.
何？
一応かけたんだけど。
おお、一応っていうか めっちゃちゃんとしてんじゃん。
これね、お気に入りの封筒。
うさぎのシールかわいい。
とっておきのシール貼ったんだ。
あとはこれを渡すだけだね。
I looked past the curtain to the back of the classroom after I said that. How's that, Take?
こうなったら奥の手だ。
Saya grabbed her chest as if she was having a heart attack.
無理。
なんで渡すために書いたんでしょ。
Saya looked pale. She was beyond embarrassment.
何度か渡してみようとしたんだけど、やっぱりできなかったんだ。怖くて声かけられなくなっちゃう。
なんでよ。私と違ってさやはアキトと喧嘩してないじゃん。
だって書くだけでも手が震えて緊張したのに、渡すなんて絶対無理だよ。死んじゃうよ。
Something's in my eye.
平気だって
Really? Ah.
人間その程度で死なないから。
光は私の心臓が今どうなってるか知らないから言えるんだよ。
Saya said pathetically. With her face like that, it looked like she really might die.
わかった。じゃあその手紙私が渡してあげるよ。
本当？いいの？
Akito and I weren't speaking to each other, but that shouldn't stop me from being able to give him a letter, I thought.
ありがとう、光。
Saya was really cute handing me her precious love letter with tears of happiness. She was my dear friend and someone who I looked up to. I'm sure that if I had been born a cute girl like Saya, I would be able to fall in love too. Holding on to those thoughts, I took the envelope with the rabbit sticker. But it took about a month for me to give Akito that letter. Knowing that it was a love letter made it so much harder to deliver. It wasn't just like delivering homework to a classmate who was sick. It was a letter filled with feelings from one important friend to another. In the end, I only just managed to give him the letter as I was going home from graduation. But at this time, because I never told him who the letter was from, Akito never knew. That rabbit sticker had sealed that letter for the last 4 years.
もうあっくんと一緒にはいられない。二人にはずっと星を見ててほしいから。
What's gone into Saya? I was wondering who the fuck's gonna storm at the convenience store to look. Like Akito or Hikari. Because I bet one of them is gonna storm out of the convenience store to look. I immediately messaged Saya, but she still hadn't messaged me. The message had been marked as delivered, but I didn't know if she had actually read the message or not.
さやはママが誤解してたこと知らないから、それで思い詰めちゃったんじゃないかな。多分そうだよ。ちゃんと話せばすぐ元通りだって。
In a cheerful voice, Hikari smacked my back several times. Yeah, I returned to my thoughts. I thought the same thing as Hikari at first, but the more I thought about it, there's definitely something else going on here besides. It's like she's been pondering over something ever since the stargazing event. I'd realized something was up with Saya, but I had been either too busy or I had tried to put it off, and I had missed it. Maybe that was the cause. If only I'd really listened to her. I looked at the starry sketches on the table. I thought I knew everything about Saya, but I really didn't know a single thing. We've been friends for so long, I wanted to know about her, but somehow I'd never gotten to know her deeply. I heard Kotaro barking and thought that Saya had come to visit, but I was wrong. I could see someone's shadow through the
コロ
window.
ナじゃん。もう10名あっち行けしごめんなさいごめんなさい。
Oh, he's angry.
こーら小太郎吠えるな。
Yoink. Hikari grabbed him by the head and he finally quieted down.
この犬め命拾いしたわね。小太郎小屋に戻ってな。
Kotaro finally calmed down after Hikari forcefully dragged Kotaro to his doghouse. There's real Corona.
アキニ、ピカリ
Corona looked at his son instantly began to
どう
cry.
したのあんた。何かあった？
Corona noticed that Hikari was sincerely worried and she held on to her tightly.
お
It looked like it was too hard for her to talk about it outside, so I had Miss Mia to handle the store as I brought Hikari and Corona to my room. Have some warm cocoa.
ありがとう、アキニ。君だ。
Corona calmed down quite a bit after warming up with the cocoa.
それで何があったの？タケにいじめられた？
Corona was holding the cup of cocoa with both hands as she shook her head. It sure seemed like she had something to say, but still, she was hesitating to tell us.
黙ってちゃ何もしてあげられないよ。
Hikari was trying to act like a calm older sister. Looking down in deep thought, Corona really looked miserable. Looked really miserable.
コロナじゃ手に負えないよ。ねえ、ピカリ、あの人引き取りに来て。は？何？どういうこと？
Who? We had no idea what she was talking about.
てんちゃん、天の川先輩だよ。
She slammed the table in a show of dominance like there wasn't anyone else she could be talking about. And she just stood there like fools.
さや、あんたのところにいるの？
Corona just gave a big nod. Got his mouth was wide open and I was laughing. That's Saya for you! I never thought that she would go to Corona's place. But that had been just what we thought. So we hadn't even bothered to ask.
レンタル DVD 屋で偶然会って止めてくれって言われて事情はよくわかんなかったけど、でもコロナがダメって言ったらもう行くところないって言うから、そしたら大変じゃん。夜の街を徘徊して不良になって。
Corona held her hand in bewilderment.
そんなことになったらコロナはでっかい十字架を背負って残りの人生を生きることになるんだ。
But Taki didn't seem like he knew anything.
兄ちゃんには秘密にしてたの。絶対気づかれないようにしてた。バレたらアキ兄に行っちゃうから。
I see.
それでしばらくうちに泊めてあげてたんだけど、なんかどんどん深刻そうな感じになってくし、黙って静かにしてたと思ったら急に涙ぐむし、もうコロナじゃ手に負えないよ。
Corona clung to Hikari.
よしよし、大変だったんだね。それであの子今どうしてるの？部屋にいる。なんか大切なものをなくしたって言って、それからずっと塞ぎ込んでる。大切なものって？わかんない。お守りだって言ってたけど。何それ？
Hold on.
アキト知ってる？
A charm. What is that?
私のお守り、これはね、私が絶対なくしたくないものなの。
Oh. That charm had looked really important to her, but she also had been kind of embarrassed by it, so she had hidden it in her hand. I think I've seen her with something like that before, but I don't really know about it too much. Had been the first time I had learned about her charm. Just what kind of charm was it?
なんかね、すごく大切なものなんだって言ってた。コロナも一緒に探したんだけど見つからなくて、そしたらあれがないと。もうアキ兄と会えないんだって。アキト。
Yeah. I remembered the message that she just sent me. She tried to say that she couldn't see me without that charm. But what kind of connection did I have with that charm?
何か特別な願掛けでもしてたのかな。
Anyway, we know where Saya
今す
is.
ぐ連れ戻そう。
I stopped Sakati from standing up. First, let's tell Saya's mother. We could decide what to do after that.
うっげー。門限に間に合わないよ。
Kati groaned as she looked at the time on her phone.
まあ、さやの一大事だって言ったら、一度くらいは許してくれると思うけどね。
Kati relaxed as we waited for the train outside the ticket gate. We had gone to tell Saya's mother where she was. Her mother said that as long as Saya was safe, that we didn't have to force her to go back home.
じゃあ明日私が会いに行ってくるよ。
She looked at me as if to ask if that was okay with me. And her hands were the night sky sketches that Saya drew. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. We needed to ask Saya if it was okay to use her sketches to help negotiate with Harbour Town. But Saya had said that she wouldn't see me, because she had lost something important. Going to see her while knowing that would be disrespecting her wishes.
サヤが大切にしてたお守りって何なのかな？
I don't know. But I'm sure that she wouldn't tell us even if we asked.
あの子頑固だからね。
Saya was an honest person, but when she'd start thinking about something, she just wouldn't let it go. Saya was just that kind of girl. But I think it has something to do with me. I'll think about it. I decided that I wanted to learn more about the hidden side of Saya. Side of Saya as a girl.
私も考えてみる。
Gotti looked down at the night sketches in her hand. For a second I thought it said night sky and was very confused. The train's here, be careful.
じゃあね、おやすみ。
Yeah, good night. Gotti waved her hand and went to the ticket gates. Well done. Back at the store, Miss Miyata was manning the counter. Maybe I should walk Kotaro first. Miss Miyata looked bored with her chin in her hands. Looks like she didn't want to be bothered, so I just waved my hand. Let's go, Kotaro. Kotaro was wagging his tail crazily as I got his leash ready and took him for a night walk. Well, Kotaro. He's looking for the charm. Sticking his nose in the bush, smelling around. Kotaro looked up to me apologetically. Not here either, huh? Kotaro had said that Saya lost her charm around here. I was relying on Kotaro's note to find Saya's lost charm, but it didn't seem like it would be that easy. Saya's scent, you know her. You love her. Okay, I'm trusting you, boy. Kotaro would always smell every little thing during our normal walks. I tried looking around with a flashlight in places that Kotaro couldn't reach, but we didn't find it. It'd be better to look in daylight. I tried to think about what kind of charm she had. It was probably from the shrine behind the mountain. They had charms for things like good luck, safe travels, or safe childbirth. Safe childbirth. Oh, wait a minute. Saya's charm probably wasn't just one of the normal ones. It had to be more important than that. Maybe she had got it from somebody. We had asked Saya's mom about it too, but she didn't know either. I tried to remember if I gave it to her, but I don't remember ever buying a charm before. I don't know why, just like, as if like scrolling on the mouse wheel just kind of did this for like speed scrolling. But like on the table. I don't really understand Saya's feelings at all. As a long-time friend, and as her boyfriend, I wanted to cry, it was so pathetic. It was 4 o'clock the next day.
コロナからだ。サヤが部屋に戻ってるって。
Oh.
では、いよいよオペレーションを。
天の岩戸、こじ開けに行ってくる。
I'm counting on you.
任せろ。
ご分を。
I left Toshin Daichi and went towards Korona's house to see Saya. For the last day, I'd been wondering why Saya had been sketching the night sky, but the only reason I could come up with was that she liked the stars.
そんなんじゃないよ。それで、あんな観測記録はつけない。
If she liked the stars, then she would stop at stargazing. We had been friends forever, but I still couldn't understand what she was feeling. It was around the time where he stopped looking at the stars. Therefore, basically, she wants to make up for all those times he missed looking at the stars. It's gonna be something like that? I feel like it's gonna be something like that. Anyways, I was so impatient and frustrated that I didn't get any sleep last night. To be honest, I was a little scared to go and see her. While you're talking, Gotti, this is between Yaki and me. Remembering what Saya said made my legs tremble. I tried to hold myself together, but I started to cry.
私たち親友じゃないのかな。口を挟んじゃいけなかったのかな。
I've been asking myself that every day since then, but I still don't know. But the answer to both of those questions was in the same
こ
place.
の辺りも随分変わったな。
I whispered to myself as I walked around. I hadn't been to Korono's house often, but I knew every corner of Mikazuki. Now that all that had changed around... But now with all that had changed around here, it was like I was walking through a completely new town. There were streetlights and new asphalt, pretty homes and stores. It was scenery that can be seen anywhere, but it was hard to tell the difference.
ブランクがあるもん。しょうがないか。
It had been 4 years since I had moved because of my dad's job, so I hadn't had much of a chance to visit here. These days I traveled almost an hour to come here almost every day, but I didn't travel those kinds of distances as a kid. As a kid, I don't think I had much of a concept of how far it was. The town that I lived in now was beyond the last station of the train line. As I had grown up, an hour commute became not such a big deal, but it still felt like the town had changed a lot.
ブランク。そっか。ブランクがあるんだ。私たちにも。
We hadn't always kept in touch during those 4 years, so there were some gaps between me and Saya. She had said that she and Akita didn't talk for a while too.
さやはその間にこのスケッチをつけ始めた。
First date recorded was half a year after I had moved. I stopped and thought, just what did Saya think about during that time? A friend had moved far away and she stopped talking to the boy she liked. Did she move on and have fun with new friends? Or...
光じゃねえか。
I stopped in my tracks as an unhappy-looking boy walked out of the video rental shop.
あんた何してんの？
見りゃわかんだろ。借りてた DVD 返しに来たんだよ。
部活どうしたのよ？
サボったんでしょみたいな言い方すんな。こないだの練習試合で手首ひねったんだ。
大丈夫なの？
大会までには余裕で治る。今は大事を取って練習短めに切り上げてんだよ。
Akita told me once that Take may not look serious, but he worked really hard when it came to
お
basketball.
前こそ何してんだよ。秋とは一緒じゃねえのか？
うん。今さやに会いに行くところ。
そういやあいつ最近見ねえな。
家出してるからね。
へえ、家出。え、マジで？
その潜伏先があんたんちだって分かったのよ。
へえ、俺んち。ってマジかよおい！
コロナがかくまってる。
あいつの部屋にいる友達って天の川だったのかよ。
そんなに鈍感で神野さんとうまくやれてるの？
なるえちゃん、言葉がきついからちょっとくらい鈍感な方がいいんだって本人が言ってた。
そういうのもあるのか。
There were so many kinds of relationships. We were heading in the same direction, so it was natural that we walked there together. The awkward silence was killing me.
そうだ。ねえあんた、ずっと秋人と仲良かったんだよね。
おう、なんだかんだでな。
私が引っ越してった後の秋人とさやのこと教えて。
はぁ？んなの本人に聞けよ。
聞きづらいことだってあるのよ。もしくは本人の口からはあんまり聞きたくない話とか。
あるか？そんなの。
例えば
Things were getting awkward, and I started to
マジ
hesitate.
な恋愛のこととか。
Taki looked like I had said something very disgusting.
あんたね、私だって傷つくんだからね。
悪かったよ。
Taki looked forward as he began to talk with
それっ
annoyance.
てあれか？お前も秋人のことが。
それ以上言うと地獄好きするわよ。
怖えよ。
I like how in Japanese he said scary, but in English they literally just went, okay. I'll just shut up. Still wasn't fully aware of some feelings deep down in myself yet, but I knew that I didn't want to hear about this from either Akita or Saya. Was it jealousy? Did I just feel the need to fill in those 4 years that were like a hole in my past?
だからお願い。
わかったよ。でも俺がこんな話したって アキトには絶対言うなよ。
Oops.
約束は守る。
I looked at him seriously and Taki started talking like he felt
お前が引っ越し
obligated.
てく前から、お前らとアキト気まずかったよな。
うん。
I could still hear the sound of the planetary observation journal tearing to pieces, and it hurt.
お前がいなくなった後も、アキトと天の川はほとんど喋ってなかったよ。まあ、だんだん色気づく年で、ガキの頃みたいに男と女が一緒にいるのは照れくさくなってくるしな。
I wasn't sure that was the reason Akito and Saya had stopped talking. When I handed over the love letter, I didn't tell Akito that it was from who it was from, and he didn't open it at all. Akito had never showed up to the meeting place, and Saya thought that she had been dumped. And I don't know about Akito, but that must have been the reason why Saya stopped talking to him.
その二人がどうしてまた話すようになったの？
I thought it was strange that they got so close that she even got the nickname Commuter Wife.
アキトのじいさんが亡くなったんだ。
Taki had talked as if he was remembering a sunset from long ago.
なんか気難しいじいさんだったらしいけど、アキトにとっちゃ唯一の肉親で家族だった。相当へこんでたよ、あいつ。それでも強がってたけどな。
Taki lowered his voice as he changed topics. When things got personal, Akito tended to hold things in and not ask for help. Must have been hard for his friends. Watching Akito be depressed and act like he was fine, not accepting any
そ
help.
の頃だよ。またあの二人が話をするようになったのは。いつの間にか話すようになってて、よく一緒にいるのを見かけるようになった。最初はかなりぎこちない感じだったけどな。何がきっかけでまた話すようになったのかは知らねえけど、アキトのやつがだんだん立ち直っていってるのは見てて分かった。それが俺たちが1年の春頃、以後今に至る。俺が知ってるのはそれだけだ。
そう。
I stayed quiet as I let everything that Taki said
あ
sink
りが
in.
とう、聞かせてくれて。
Now that I thought about it, I had heard Akito talk about losing his grandfather sometimes. Kind of jokingly talked about it, so it showed that he was able to talk about it cheerfully now. Didn't know what it was like to lose your home, or even a family member. He knows it well. Didn't know how Akito really felt about things anymore. I didn't know how Akito really felt about things anymore. And I knew about
そう
Saya.
いや、前に天の川に聞いたことがあるんだ。お前ら付き合ってんのかって。そしたらあいつ、アキトには他に好きなやつがいるって言ってたな。でも今あいつら付き合ってんだよな。
うん。
He nodded as he looked over at me.
ま、俺はどっちでもいいけど。
We didn't have anything else to talk about, so we walked in silence all the way to Taki's house. Sup, Saya? Just kicks in the door. Hi! I searched for my charm on my way home from school today, but I didn't find it. It's not coincidence that I lost that
神
charm.
様のお告げなのかも。
Why is there also a thing here? Someone deluding themselves into losing something being an act of God. There's also a thing in Senri's Route in Daitoshokan. So why is it also a thing here? Why it's with these timings? Maybe I was being taught to forget about Aki and to use my efforts to light up the night. I needed to atone for my sins. I made a small fist with my hand. There was nothing there, though.
光の方がお似合いだよ。
Aki had started looking at the stars again because Hikari had come back. Knew that I knew that if that was what he wanted, then it was for the best. Why are you talking, Hikari? This is between Aki and me. I said some pretty horrible things to Hikari. I kept reimagining it, hating myself.
穴があったら埋まっちゃいたいよ。
ねえ、ちょっといい？
Corona entered and I hastily covered my eyes.
何かな？
Corona suddenly clapped her hands together and faced me.
コロナのこと、裏切り者とか密告者とか好きに罵ってくれていいから。
どうしたのコロナちゃん。
just the door opens a bit more, revealing just Hikari standing there full JoJo pose. Hello. I heard somebody climbing the stairs as I started to talk.
でも今はドローさせていただきます。 ドローンって
Cordula covered her face as she left the room, making a lot of noise.
逃げなきゃ。
I need to get the fuck out of here! I quickly looked around the room. I didn't have time to think. I opened the window and climbed out. I put my feet on the eaves right below the window. As I held onto the window frame, I turned to the side and slipped. She likes to slip a lot. Are you a fucking idiot, Saya?
バカ！本当にバカ！何やってんのよ、あんたは！ごめんなさい。自分の運動神経の鈍さ知ってるでしょ？何度も落ちそうになって、私とアキトに助けてもらったの忘れちゃった。
I shook my head.
それにあんたそれ、スカートじゃない。はしたないでしょ？ごめんなさい。ほんと、思い詰めるととんでもないことやらかすんだから。
I sat down hard, looking at the floor. Hikari had saved me with the slightest of margins from falling off the roof. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't look up. Hikari was right, I was a giant idiot.
ごめんね、ヒカリ。もういいって。この前、ひどいこと言って。
Hikari went silent and I couldn't raise my head out of fear this time.
あんなこと言うつもりじゃなかったの。でも、あの時はお母さんのことで怒ってて、それで。とっさに出た一言って、要は本音ってことよね。めちゃめちゃ傷ついた。
I cried as I apologized. It was regretful and pathetic. So many emotions were jumbled up and the tears just flooded out.
全部私のせい。私がハックを好きになったから。だから光はハックにわざと冷たくして喧嘩して、ノートはバラバラになっちゃって、ハック星を見ない天文部員になっちゃった。
That's right. I was the one who destroyed Hikari and Aki's relationship and all of ours as well. All because I fell in love with Aki, I think it's supposed to say.
それなのに私まだあっくんが好きで急にキスしたりして、せっかく光が戻ってきてまたうまくいきかけてたのに、私はあっくんや光に友達って思ってもらう資格なんてないの。この間光に言っちゃった言葉みたいに、私は3人のことより自分のことばかり考えてる。
You see, the problem right now is that you are not focused enough on yourself. You are too focused on your relationships. There's the current predicament, you see. Everything that I'd been holding in, I just let it all out. At once. I forgot that at once. Hikari just listens as I let everything go with tears in my
言い
eyes.
たいことはそれだけ？
I silently nodded. I shamefully began to shake when I tried to speak. Then Hikari
そ
said,
れは嘘だよ。
I looked up as she clearly said that.
聞こえなかった？そんなの嘘だって言ったんだよ。
Hikari frowned as she laid the journal right in front of me.
これ、私の。
Oh, it's a good soundtrack! It's one of them good ones!
それが証拠。反論ある？
I blanked out.
こんなの証拠にならないよ。
I really like the soundtrack.
なるよ。
Hikari doesn't waver at all. She seemed certain of what she was saying.
言ってやろうか。あんたがどんな気持ちでこのスケッチをつけてたか。私、昨日の夜この観測記録を何度も見たよ。ただ定点から星の配置を記録しただけのスケッチ。どんな気持ちでサヤがこれをつけてたのか一生懸命考えたけど これは記録で、そこから読み取れる情報といえば、星の配置、見え方、それから数。
The information on my notes was only data. It was only capable of showing objective facts and nothing more. I had done my best to make the journal free of my personal emotions or
でも
feelings.
何度も何度も繰り返し見てて気づいたの。さやと同じ気持ちになってた。
私と同じ気持ち。
年々星が減っていってた。最初の年の記録と今年の記録を見比べたらびっくりするくらい
One of
の
my mouth keeps twitching and I don't know why.
焦りや喪失感やなんかもういろいろ込み上げてきてすごく辛い気持ちになったよ。さやもそうだったんじゃないの？
No reply. That was answer enough.
このスケッチはあんたが私たちと一緒に見てたあの頃の星空を大切にしてくれてる証拠だって私思ったんだ。間違ってる？
My shin hurts. I kept tapping my foot so much. And because I was scratching myself there earlier because of the mosquito bite. It now hurts. But I can't stop tapping my foot. And also because I walked around a bunch today. Around the stations and all that. And the arcades. Where the shop was located. My leg muscles also are slightly sore. But I still can't stop tapping my foot. Tears streamed down my face again. They were warmer than before. Tears so hot that I could feel their warmth.
知らない。光の言った通り。
As answered, Hikari looked relieved. He seemed so sure of her idea, but she really wasn't so confident. Maybe it was just her wishful thinking that she was imposing on me. Either way, she was on point.
光がいなくなった後、しばらく私、星を見てなかった。星を見るのは楽しかったけど、それよりも、あっくんや光と一緒に何かするのが楽しかったから。
Ah, my leg! I can't stop tapping my foot! Ah, this song is so good.
光がいないなら、もう今日でもないって思ってた。ある夜ふと空を見上げて気がついた。星の数が減ってるって。
Okay, I really stopped. It was half a year after Hikari had moved away. They began the construction of the dam, and everybody had relocated out of Mikazuki's submerged zone. A lot of construction equipment and vehicles began to come, and the town began to change little by little with more stores and streetlights. That's when it happened. When I glanced at the night sky, I noticed that the stars looked different than what I remembered.
思い出が色あせていくような怖さを感じて、私、スケッチに書き留めたの。これ以上、何もなくしたくなくて、忘れたくなくて、大事な思い出だったから。
Okay, now I'm not quite tapping my foot, but I'm still this still hurts. I can't stop. The music is too good. So I drew them, so that they wouldn't be lost forever. But it didn't stop drawing.
大切にしてくれてたんだね。いつもそうだよ。引っかき回したり壊しちゃったりするのは私の方。さやはフォローしてくれたじゃない。忘れたの？惑星観測ノートを破いちゃったのは私とアキトだよ。さやはそれをテープでつなぎ止めてくれた。元通りにしようって必死になってくれた。
そ
それは私のせいで二人が。
Kari sadly shook her head, like she was saying that I was wrong.
私の方こそごめん。さやに悲しい思いばかりさせて。そんなこと。私にはあの頃みたいな星空を取り戻したいなんていう資格ないのかもしれない。違うよ、そうじゃない。
I disagreed vehemently. I couldn't look Hikari in the eye as I looked down and hid my face behind my long hair.
言ったでしょ。私が光に言ったひどい言葉は。
The thing is, it'd honestly be scary if she wasn't thinking that. Every person gets jealous. That's normal. Jealousy is a normal human emotion. So if you were lacking that emotion, it's going to be kind of weird.
うん。私の中には二人の私がいる。
Yeah, means you're not one-dimensional, like you currently look. Actually, that's two-dimensional. I'm a fucking idiot.
一人は赤と光と三人の関係に戻りたがってる私。もう一人はあっくんが好きで他のことなんか目にも入らない。嫌になるよ。思い出が大事だとか言いながら自分のことしか考えてないんだもん。
Kari was a close friend, and I didn't ever want to hurt her. But at the same time, I was also jealous.
私、アキトのことが好きだよ。けどね、やっぱり私は3人で楽しくってのがいいな。お子ちゃまなんだろうね。
She laughed like it was
だ
funny.
から、さやの恋を応援したい。それは、あの頃のままだよ。でも、そんなの。大体さ、私らがどう思ってたって、誰と付き合うか決めるのはアキトだよ。あいつだけ決定権持ってるってのは、なんかちょっとムカつくけどさ。
Kari reached out her hand and grabbed my hand and stood up. Light from the sunset entered the room from the window and illuminated Hikari's mature figure with a golden light. I looked at this almost glowing Hikari and thought of her like a goddess.
私たち3人にはブランクがある。親友に戻るにせよ、戻らないにせよ、それを埋めてからじゃないと始まらないよ。まずはあの日かけ違えたボタンをかけ直さないとだね。
Kari was reaching out for something as she said that.
これアキトがサヤに渡してくれって。どういう意味かよくわかんないんだけど。
I took it completely bewildered. Didn't really understand Aki's true intention either.
それから伝言。サヤのなくしたもの、絶対見つけるからって。お守りをなくしたんだって。ねえ、そんなに大事なお守りなの？あいつね、なんか気づいてるみたいだったよ。そのお守りがサヤにとってどう大切なのか。気づいてた。
I looked at the envelope in my hands and whispered.
聞いても教えてくれないんだ。ねえ、どういう意味
It's
な
the
の？
good music again, by the way.
それは秘密。もう二人だけずっこい。
Wasn't entirely certain that Aki had actually realized what it was or not. If he did realize what it was, if he did find out, then I might get back what I lost. It was my treasure.
それからさやのこの星空のスケッチ、しばらく借りてもいい？いいけど。ありがとう。これでどうにかなるかもだよ。プロジェクトスターライトがさ。
Oops. Korona had said that things had gone off the rails a bit.
私にできることを頑張る。必ず明るい夜を取り戻すよ。そしたら そこからまた始めよう。私たち3人を。
It was so dependable as she talked that I stopped crying. Well, Kotaro shook his head sadly. Not here either. I wiped the sweat from my head. I tried to act cool as I had spoken to Hikari. It's outside that I'll find it no matter what. Me and my big mouth. This isn't good. It will be really embarrassing when I don't find it. It would disappoint Saya and Hikari would say something too. I would disappoint Saya. Hikari would say something too. Please, Kotaro, find it for me! I didn't speak long, but I would imagine he was saying something like, look, I will really line it up, but if it's not here, then it's not here! The sun was setting, casting a shadow over the tall grass, worsening the visibility. Guess we'd better start back up in the morning. I was starting to panic, and it was just about time to start my job. I'll find it, Saya! Other than Saya, there were a bunch of Six Stars Club members at the stopping by. Everyone had been handing out flyers at the station, but now we were just waiting inside the store for somebody.
遅いですね。
準備って着替えるだけですよね。そんなに時間かかるんですか？
まさかおじけづいたんじゃ。
Hikari sounded worried. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Like Hikari, I was a little worried myself. We were waiting for Miss Miharu. Hikari had seen Saya yesterday and gotten permission to use her sketches to help convince Harbour Town. Today we would pass them on to Miss Miharu and she would take them to Harbour Town. Even though she was our advisor, we felt bad for giving her extra work and responsibilities, so we had all come to see her off. But she hadn't left her room yet after she said she needed to change.
なんかハーバータウンの知り合いにあんまり会いたくなさそうだったよね。
Yeah, she wasn't too happy about it. She hadn't told us who her acquaintance was, but it must have been someone she liked too much. All of the second years pretty much knew Miss Miharu. The first years didn't know her yet, so they didn't really understand why we were worrying right now. Just then, Corona came out from the entrance of the living quarters behind the store.
準備できたよ。
We all stood up and faced our teacher. Is she gonna be like in her old look again?
待たせたわね。
Oh yes! Yes! Miss Miharu came out fidgeting with her hair like she wasn't able to calm down. Everybody jumped back with surprise. Kawana Kajima especially.
あの人誰ですか？
I didn't blame Kawana Kajima. She had come out looking like a completely different person than before.
何よ、その目は。
She's back! Hikari drew closer. There was a tear hiding in her eye.
早乙女先生、お久しぶりです。覚えていますか？あなたの教え子のほうき星ひかりです。
はあ？いつも会ってるでしょうが。
Why you do look like a totally different person?
そう？まあ、今の流行からするとちょっと古いかもしれないわね。
Fuck today's fashion! You look fucking adorable! She said she said as she looked at the clothes she was wearing. To be honest, it would be hard to call what she normally wore in any kind of fashion at all. But now she was sporting a natural look that made her look like... made her look quite womanly. I think the like is wrong there. Her clothes, hair, and makeup all added to the effect.
こんなにお綺麗な方だったんですね。
Monika said in amazement. I wonder what impression our former teacher had on the great Mako Academy's girls. On the grand Mako Academy girls.
部長や先輩たちの先生なのですね。
The first year students were looking at her with awe.
そうよ。早乙女先生は私たちの自慢だったんだから。
At least as long as, you know. Miss Miharu looked fairly unpleasant when Hikari boasted of her.
普段から綺麗な先生でしょうに。さっきからなんか腹立つわね、あんたら。
みはるちゃん、あんまり腕上げちゃダメだよ。
おっと、そうだった。
She really fixed her skirt with her
ウエス
hands.
トがきつくてボタンが止められないから安全ピンで止めてるんだよね。
こら、バラすんじゃない。
So that was why it had taken so
この
long.
服、昔のだからしゃあないのよ。あんたらもわかるから、そのうち。
ウエストがきつくなってても先生は私たちの先生だよ。嬉しい、帰ってきてくれて。
Like an excited child, Hikari was snapping photos with her
や
smartphone.
めて、おきもし。そのキラキラした目で見るの。それプレッシャーだから、また10円ハゲできるから。
She rubbed the back of her head, remembering some old trauma. The old trauma. Here you are, ma'am. Gave the sketches that Saya had lent to Hikari to Miss Miharu.
どうかよろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
Our teacher was looking back at us like we were putting her under a lot of pressure as she put the journals into her bag.
行ってくるわ。
いってらっしゃい。
She's still taking pictures. Miss Miharu left, carrying both our expectations and the future of the project on her shoulders. I left, thanking both Korona and her mother. When I got home, I received a severe scolding from my mother. Mom had misunderstood that Akito was the one I was dating, so she did apologize for some of the things he had said. But I shouldn't have run away. But I shouldn't have run away. It caused a lot of trouble for Miss Kaskabe and worried a lot of people. I got a scolding for longer than I ever had before. I also had been grounded for the foreseeable future. I could help everybody from home, though. I could update the site and post a meteor shower observation tips comic that my club members had wrote all from my room. Club's members were good at drawing manga, but didn't know about astronomy, so I was the one who drew the stars backgrounds and things like that.
少しでもみんなの役に立たないと。
I don't want to hold anyone back anymore. With that in mind, I started working on the computer when...
光からだ。
Apparently I got a message from Mikari, but it didn't have a title. She just fucking falls out of her chair. Like she just kind of like peeks up from below, but just kind of like falls down. Just kind of peeks up from below the table, like, what the fuck? I didn't need to do that, but I still did.
びっくりした。私たちの早乙女先生が帰ってきたんだよ。さやの星空スケッチ、先生が届けに行ってくれた。
そのために昔の先生に戻ってくれたんだ。
I saved the picture and sent a reply to Hikari. I like how she saves it.
ありがとう。写真送ってくれて。先生、やっぱり綺麗だね。
なんだって私らの自慢の先生だからね。これはもう勝ったも同然だよ。
Come on, come on!
きっとうまくいくから。
Hikari had talked with me yesterday.
そしたらそこからまた始めよう。私たち3人を。
We were fixing our mistakes and starting anew. All of us. But we needed courage to do that, and I seem to have lost my courage.
あとはアキトがサヤの落とし物を見つけてくれるだけだね。
Hikari had said that Aki was aware of why that charm was so important to me.
本当に気づいてるのかな。
If Aki did find that for me, then I turned those feelings into words and replied to Hikari.
お、返事来た。
Hikari looked over the message as she laughed and looked at me. Why are you laughing like
い
that?
や、アキトも見たいかなと思って。
Not really. I said curtly, looking away as Hikari showed me her phone.
信じてるもん。
だって。
He just charges out of the fucking convenience. You know what? Fuck it. He jumps through the window because that apparently is a thing that always happens. You know what? He's going the extra mile, runs up to his room, and jumps out of that window instead of like the storefront window. He just jumps out, just starts charging down the path. Where is it? Where's the fucking charm? Of course she does. With that, we got back to work, getting the word out for the upcoming Geminid meteor shower. I was at this point I would just ask the other club members, you know what? You mind if I look for the charm? This is very important to me.
こんなこと急に言われても困らせてしまうかもしれないけど、私の気持ち知っててほしいので手紙に書きました。
I need some stargazer in my life right now. Please give me
ずっと
stargazer.
前から好きでした。付き合ってください。明日のお昼、いつもの橋で待ってます。返事を聞かせてくれると嬉しいです。
Oh, you're gonna see like her waiting there now. I leaned against the rails and waited for a long time. It was after graduation, but I wouldn't see kids going home with their families or any of my classmates. This bridge connected the roads to the mountains, and few people came this way. I was alone. The sun was already setting. I looked down the way towards Aki's house, but no one was coming this way. I kicked a small rock at my feet. It rolled away and stopped right in front of the river. I knew that I'd been passed up. I wiped away the coming tears and suddenly felt embarrassed. Put on my sunglasses. Then I walked home. I could feel the warmth of tears on my cheek. It was my fault for wanting something, and thus I lost something important to me. Next time that I saw Aki was a while after I wore a new school uniform and started going to a new school. I didn't talk to him, but I just saw him from afar. This is what is actually a very good thumbnail, I feel. Also, he has shorter hair there, I think. Aki looked a bit more manly now, with his slightly large uniform. He looked stiff in it, as he was walking with Taki and some other boys. Did he grow a little too? His uniform would fit perfectly in no time. I was with my new girlfriend, but I still wasn't used to my uniform yet. I just saw him in the distance. He wouldn't talk to me, because I had been turned down. That's why I could only look at him from afar. My new school was on the other side of the city, and it had a lot of classes. Aki was in a different class, so I didn't get to see him much. So Aki and I had became estranged. When puberty hit, everybody was embarrassed to talk to the opposite sex. It was awkward when I passed Aki in the halls, so I didn't make any eye contact. Aki and I both made new friends, and we stopped looking at the stars. Time went by, and it was like I never knew a girl by the name of Hikari Hikoboshi. And during that time, I couldn't help but think about this one thing. What if Hikari was here? I'm sure she'd get rid of the awkward tension, and the three of us would be able to be friends again. We would have fun doing something. We would have fun doing something. That we would look up at the starry sky at night. One night, I looked up at the night sky, and the number of stars decreased, so I started sketching them down. I wanted to record my fading memories. I didn't want to lose any more than I already had. It looks like Aki forgot to look up. I was chased out of Aki's life, and I was looking for him in the stars. We drifted so far apart that it was hard to believe that we used to play together all the time. I was certain that we would stay like this forever. I'd lost a lot, and I'd realized something. Growing up meant that you kept losing both important and unimportant things. That changed 2 years later, right before graduation. One day, Aki missed school, and the teacher told us that Aki's grandfather had passed away. Aki was living with him, and apparently there was a lot going on at home, so he missed school for about a week. Taki and the other guys treated Aki normally, like nothing had happened when he came back to school. I felt really troubled looking at that. I knew immediately that he was faking it. Whenever Aki was going through a tough time, he would always keep things in and not ask for help. Aki was strong, so he always tried to bear with it like that. But what would happen to him if it was something that he couldn't handle by himself? What if he was facing that right now?
アキト君
Aki looked around with surprise on his face. Of course he would. It happened 3 years since we last talked. I wanted to say something. I just wanted to help in some way, but I had no idea what to say, so I just stood there. I diverted my gaze and tried my best to talk to him. I needed to say something, but I didn't know what to say. Like, shouldn't he be bothered that I was talking to him? We used to be close a long time ago, but we were not even friends now. I was the girl that he rejected. He said thank you. I looked up in surprise as Aki opened his mouth. He told me that if I hadn't been there, nobody would have taken care of him, and he might have died, and he thanked me. His voice was wavering as if he was forcing the words out. And there were tears flowing down his cheeks. I started to panic. Aki was always so strong and kind. No one ever saw him cry. And there I was, crying right in front of me. Needed to do something. I had trouble coming up with words, but Aki gently grabbed my hand. I had no idea what to say, but I wanted to tell him how I felt. Aki forced a smile through his tears as I struggled to do anything. Aki was quiet as we held hands like that for a while, quietly crying. He stifled his voice so nobody would hear him. But I heard. I felt his heart waver through his hand. After that, Aki and I were back on speaking terms. There were still a few clumsy and awkward moments, like when Taki was around, Aki acted differently. But we only had 1 month left together in the same school. We already finished our entry exams, and I was going to Seisan Girls' Academy to become a teacher, and Aki decided to go to Oshinodaichi High School. Part of the reason why I went to Seisan was because it was hard being around Aki, but not being able. It was hard being around Aki, but not being able to talk to him. I would come to regret that choice a lot. Spring came and some time passed since everyone went to different schools.
天文部に入ることにした？
It was like the Saotome store had been born again after refurbishing, but Aki talked like it was no big deal. Tried my best not to ask him with the elate surprise that I actually felt.
じゃあまた星を見るの？
Nah, not at all.
じゃあどうして天文部に？
Aki just smiled as he replied, "So I can live in the club room!" It's my new home!
お邪魔します。
It was Oshinodaichi's astronomy club room. Aki said that he would be living here. His face was so smug and proud.
いいの？学校に住んで。
It isn't! I am a club member. He seemed serious as he carelessly said that, thinking that school might be okay with it. It was crazy. It was crazy, but it made me happy. After his grandfather passed away, Aki had been staying at a relative's house until now. It took him 2 hours to get to school, one way. It must have been hard on him. There was even talk about him transferring to another school.
ご飯とかどうしてるの？
I'll eat the leftover rice balls at stopping by. After Aki started living in the club room, he got a part-time job working at the convenience store. It so would happen that Miss Miura was looking for someone to help with the store since she didn't want to do any of the work herself.
ダメだよそんなんじゃ栄養が偏っちゃうよ。
I'm fine. I can survive as long as you can survive as long as you're full.
ダメだってば。
Don't worry! You ruffled my hair. Aki was petting my head quite hard. I just wanted to do that.
もう髪くしゃくしゃだよ。
I didn't want Aki to see my messed up hair, so I hurriedly fixed it. Then I handed him a tote bag that I was carrying.
はい、これ。
What is it?
ね。
I took out a Tupperware from the tote bag.
おで
I don't know why, but realistic food and media makes me feel utterly uncomfortable. Ta-da! Oh!
アキトくんが一人暮らし始めたって言ったら、食事が大変だろうってお母さんが作ってくれたの。
Thank you, it looks so good!
温められるのかな
Yeah, no problem. We don't have a telescope in the astronomy club, but we do have a microwave. It's insane that he's living at school, but it stops him from transferring schools. That's why I took it upon myself to support him. I tried to make sure that he was getting proper food, and I tried to make life a little easier. So I asked my mom to make extra fruit that's easily shareable. I brought over extra towels and blankets we didn't use and a cushion. I even brought some of his leftover laundry home and did it there. It was during that time that I got the nickname Commuter Wife. It was embarrassing, but it did make me a little happy.
せっかく天文部に入ったんなら、また星を見ればいいのに。
Nah, I'm over that phase. I'll just be a member here at the club. So the club doesn't get disbanded, I can live in peace. Aki became known as the astronomer who never looks at the stars before I got the nickname of Commuter Wife. Aki acted like that was true, but I knew that he was still stargazing. He would take the astronomy club's camping equipment and go to the mountains by himself from time to time. He said his late father liked the camp, but I knew he went to the mountains to stargaze. But he was keeping it secret from me.
光にだったら言うんだろうな。
I'm sure that Hikari is just as important to him as the stars are. Hikari was still an important person to Aki. That was okay, as long as he was smiling. If he was stargazing again, that way he would return to the boy I liked, who said that my eyes were like albireo. It's getting cold. I was content with that until one day, just like a periodic comet, Hikari Hikoboshi appeared. Time that had stopped on that day began to move again. Rusted gears were creaking into motion. Aki began looking at the stars again, and I found out that Aki still hadn't read my love letter. That I hadn't been dumped yet.
Project Starlight にご協力お願いします。お願いします。
I love your support! Students' voices could be heard all over Harbor Town's plaza. Some students wearing different uniforms were handing out flyers to the townspeople. On the flyer was a slogan. In joint cooperation with Project Starlight, let's watch the meteor shower in Harbor Town. It had been decided that there would be an event in Harbor Town on December 14th, the peak day of the Geminid meteor shower. As stated, we were going to watch the meteor shower in Harbor Town, but it was labeled as an event to turn off the illuminations. To think that we'd get so much help.
驚きを通り越して、少々足が震えます。
I missed my chance to stop the part, fuck. Miss Mieru's appeal had been a huge success. Harbor Town had taken a complete 180 on their stance with the Christmas lights. But it'd be boring to just turn off all the lights, so they made an event out of it. This time, the flyers were not homemade ones, but flyers professionally designed by Harbor Town.
プロジェクトスターライトです。
Projecto Starlighto です。
やります。
I don't know why I said that. I don't know why I just let full Gary Buster Holmes out there.
みんな遊びに来てね。
What the fuck? Ugh. Harbor Town's very own Harbor Boy was handing out flyers too.
ハーバー君、大きい。
頼もしいよ、ハーバー君。でもちょっとブサイクだね、この子。
Our Project Starlight had become a collaborative event with Harbor Town. It seemed that Harbor Town figured it would be good publicity for young people in the area if it hosted the event. Thanks to that, our ability to share information improved. We weren't just handing out flyers here, but also using the internet to aggressively spread word about the event. The hit counter for Project Starlight's official site was skyrocketing. The amount of people following our social network site had grown by 5 times. We hope to get even more followers closer to the meteor shower.
流星群の極大日までプラネタリウムの方でもイベントをやるらしいよ。子供たちも見に来てくれるといいな。
Kari was in a great mood since the project was doing well. I never once imagined that a small project started by a few students would grow this
そ
large.
れもみんなさやのおかげだね。
We never would have gotten this big if it weren't for Saya's sketches. Miura's contact had really been moved by Saya's sketches. Seems like they had done everything they could to convince Harbortown to help. Miss Miura never did tell who this friend was, though. She must have really disliked that person.
私たちがダメになりそうな時、いつもさやがつなぎ止めてくれるね。
Yeah,
今度こそちゃんと最後まで頑張らないと。
we had to repay Saya for 5 years of hard work. What?
いや、別に
Kari just stared at me as she said that.
さやのこと本当に頼んだからね。
Talking to herself, Kari went over to her family to give them a
12
flyer.
月14日、流星群を一緒に見ましょう。よろしくお願いします。
Our fight didn't end there. Word got out that Harbortown was working with students to host an event, and it got on in the newspaper and even on to local TV. Word about Project Starlight was starting to spread around Hoshinonaka City. Our reputation spread at Sight City, and other areas were setting up observation events. Everything was reaching a climax. We had even got help from students at each of the 6 Stars Club schools. We no longer lacked helping hands. Cooperating with Harbortown had helped make Project Starlight look like a bona fide event. And so even more people were willing to help. They were spending the last few days promoting the event to as many people as possible. And then on December 14th, the peak day of the Gemini meteor shower was finally here. And would you look at that? That's the perfect fucking timing to end the part, isn't it? Shut up. So anyways, like I said, perfect place to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and next time... What the fuck am I talking about? I know. Anyways, actually thinking about it, I should probably, like, set up another poll already. Actually, no, I already said that I would do a Fureraba next. So, I basically have Nekoneon software just cleaned out. For now. Anyways, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Press the button, that's the button. Bye.